Good. We'll sleep better. Maybe you will.
Crosby Electric does landscaping lighting for beauty and safety, as well as security lighting for peace of mind.
Oh, darn. The vacuum cleaner just tripped a breaker.
Honey, never vacuum while I'm making popcorn.
Tripping breakers can indicate a potential fire hazard. You really should have it checked out by Crosby Electric, serving the river region for almost 50 years.
Sweetheart, are you ever afraid that lightning could damage our electrical system?
Afraid? Come on. No. Maybe we should call Crosby. Just give him a call.
Whole house surge protection can protect you and your possessions. For an assessment and for all your electrical needs, call Crosby Electric 272-2085 or visit us at crosbyelectric.com.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
What the hell are we doing here?
We are behaving the way a superpower ought to behave.
Well, our behavior has produced some crappy results.
Joey Clark.
Welcome into the program here on a lovely Tuesday out of Montgomery, Alabama. I'm your host, Joey Clark. Eddie Bader is back in the studio. How you doing today, man?
Much better, Joey. Much better. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing all right. A lot to get to today. And as is tradition now on Tuesdays, and I'm excited to talk to him every week, but especially this week, just given events happening in the world, we have the one, the only Judge Andrew Napolitano. Judge, how you doing today, sir?
I'm doing well, Joey. A pleasure to be on with you, my friend.
Absolutely. Now, one thing I found astounding last week is when President Trump said, I want to reduce global military spending by 50%. That would start with a denuclearization agreement. I think this is one of the best things I've ever heard a modern American president say. I mean, but what do you make of it, especially with the folks you talk to on your show?
Oh, well, I couldn't agree more. It's if true, if he really wants to cut the American defense budget in half, that's from 900 million to 450 million. And if he wants to reduce radically nuclear weapons around the world, that would be a radical change from his first term in office. B, it would be a radical movement towards peace and the salvation of mankind. It's truly remarkable. These are truly almost mind-boggling statements, far more significant than the nonsense about the U.S. owning Gaza. This would be spectacular, and he'll be met with tremendous resistance by the military-industrial congressional complex because these people have been in bed with each other since World War II.
Yeah, and it's that's kind of all the rage. Oh, don't take these jobs. I'm like, maybe they're jobs that shouldn't exist, and y'all need to go to more productive ends for everybody's benefit. And I've also really fixated on the speech J.D. Vance, Vice President Vance, gave at the Munich Security Conference. I was shocked to see a German official crying after the fact. There's no crying at the Munich Security Conference. Come on, sir. But I found...
I think he was crying because he was retiring and missing his friends. Who knows? I thought Vance's comments were excellent. Not all of my guests did. Some thought it set back American-European relations. Many thought it reflects this new Trump attitude towards Europe that you're on your own and it's about time we said it.
Well, but the free speech thing, and I wrote about it this week in my op-ed, it seems like they've taken Karl Popper's paradox of tolerance way too far to where now they're engaging in authoritarianism. I know they vote for officials, but this bureaucracy in Europe, like arresting people for things they post online for insulting somebody in public, it seems absurd.
Well, it is absurd by our standards. I saw the 60-minute, I don't know if it was 60 Minutes, it was some CBS product. It was
60 Minutes, yeah.
Interview with three prosecutors. That three of them looked like butter wouldn't melt in their mouths, but they're not doing the arresting and incarcerating. They're just presenting cases in court, and to them it seemed normal and standard in the post-Nazi era in Germany to suppress hate speech. I don't know. Look, the problems with speech in America existed in the first Trump administration. The Supreme Court opinion that allows the Department of Homeland Security to use a carrot and a stick to influence social media venues to suppress speech the government doesn't want and advance speech the government does want happened under the Trump administration. So I don't know how pure they are when they talk about the freedom of speech. On the other hand, I recognize that no one is as pure as your guest, because to me, Congress shall make no law literally means no law. Now, very few people interpret that textually and literally. Certainly not J.D. Vance, and probably not the president. So I'm sort of in my own field when it comes to the freedom of speech. However, the Supreme Court of the United States has said the remedy for hate speech is not suppression; it's more speech, and that's true. That's true. That's the American mantra. We're not talking about a bullhorn in a residential neighborhood at 3 a.m. Even I would permit the suppression of that. But we are talking about no suppression of speech based on its content. We're not talking about time, place, and manner. That's the 3 a.m. with the bullhorn case. We're talking about its content. What the Department of Homeland Security in the first Trump administration did was to suppress and advance speech based on its content. What the German prosecutors are doing as we speak is prosecuting people because of the content of their speech. The whole purpose of the First Amendment is to keep the government out of the business, directly or indirectly, of evaluating the content of speech.
Well, and I think freewheeling hard discussions that do offend, that are ugly at times, lets off steam. I worry that, say, in the European context, if they keep doubling down on this, they'll get the very thing they're worried about. That when you suppress people speaking publicly, people still believe things and they whisper these nasty things and it bursts violently like a abscess that's been growing in the body politic.
Agreed. It's like sending drones to Mexico to have the CIA look for people bringing fentanyl in. As long as there's a market for fentanyl, as long as people are crazy enough to want to take it, it's going to come in, no matter what the government does.
It is one of those perpetual problems some might like in government.
I analogize them because there are certain aspects of human nature that the government can push underground, like hate speech in Germany or fentanyl in the U.S., but can't eradicate because it's just people are want to say what's on their mind in Germany, and people are crazy enough to ingest a poison that's going to kill them here in the U.S.
Well, and what's nuts there is you could point to, say, the Sackler family or all the folks that got everybody hooked on opioids through prescriptions, and then it goes to heroin, then it goes to fentanyl. So there's a lot of blame to go around, but I think human nature is a good one to lean on there, as it always is. But before you have to run, I know it's probably up against something there. I've been meaning to ask, as we've been seeing these district judges, some that are favorable to Trump and then some that are not, where does this power for a district judge to make a national injunction come from? I've had a lot of people asking me that.
The federal rules of civil procedure permit that, and the Constitution permits the judiciary to enjoin behavior that is unconstitutional. Again, I have some beef with Vice President Vance, who was himself a graduate of Yale Law School. I don't know if he ever practiced law, but he certainly knows the basics. And that is that judges do have the authority to interfere with the other two branches. They are the anti-democratic branch. Their job is to preserve the life, liberty, property, and rights of individuals from incursion by the branches that enjoy popular majorities. That's why we have a judiciary. So these Republican congressmen are suggesting that a judge could be impeached because he enjoined the president. That's frivolous. They should read the Constitution, which limits impeachment to treason, bribery, and other high crimes and misdemeanors. And Vice President Vance saying judges don't have the authority to interfere with presidential behavior. Of course they do. And they've been doing it since Thomas Jefferson was president.
Well, and my hope is this battle over the different powers of the branches right now will break sort of the equilibrium we've had for a century now, which I think learning from you is not exactly how Madison intended the Constitution. Maybe this breaks us in a better direction. I don't know. Could go wrong.
Look, I think that Doge is unconstitutional, and I don't know why they don't have Congress enact it by legislation. Then all the litigation would go away. Do I agree with what Doge is doing? Well, look, in my world, 90 to 95% of the federal government wouldn't exist because it's not authorized by the Constitution. But to have people that are not authorized by law go in as a wrecking crew is profoundly unconstitutional.
Well, I always appreciate your time, Judge. Who do you have coming up on Judging Freedom?
Oh, I have Pepe Escobar coming up today from midnight in Moscow. We call his segment. He just finished a week in the Donbass, and he's going to tell us some harrowing stories about the Ukrainian military using American weapons to kill civilians hiding in monasteries.
Wow. Sobering. Well, I appreciate it as always, Judge. I really do, and God bless her.
Thank you, Joey. All the best, my man.
Again, folks, that is Judge Andrew Napolitano, and always appreciate his time on. But as I mentioned earlier, Eddie Bader is in the studio. How you doing today?
Good, buddy.
You feeling better?
Oh, a lot better. Oh, a lot better.
We were talking off air. There was a lot of, you were going through it. We don't have to go into all the details. Please,
sure, Joe. I'd love to relive it.
Yeah.
It was pretty rough, man. Especially, this is the first time I've been really sick, like post-COVID, but especially as an old man. A little bit harder as an old man.
Well, and it's a stomach thing. And so I'm like, I can't remember the last time I had a true stomach bug. And that is one of the most miserable things to go through.
I felt bad for my wife because no matter where I was at in the house, she could hear me. It could be 2 a.m. It could be 4 a.m. It could be 1 p.m. It was not good.
And to give folks, if I can, just my experience when this set on, and you always tell me your life is a dark comedy. And this was like a scene out of a dark comedy where we're sitting here, we're doing the show, on Monday last week?
Yeah. Yes.
And it's about 2:40. So we only got 20 minutes to go. Yeah. And you stand up and just the way you looked, the way you said it, I was like, I kind of got it. You're like, I got to go, man. And I think what you said to me is I ate too much strawberry pie.
Strangely enough. So I'd made this delicious strawberry pie, and I thought I had a piece before I came into work, and I thought the acid was burning my belly.
So I thought that you were missing the next day because ate too much strawberry pie again. That or, he's closing. He's working on real estate. But it turned out it wasn't the pie.
It wasn't the pie, but we threw the pie away. I was worried that the pie might have contained the flu as well, so it was gone.
Well, the pie's done.
Yeah, it was pretty rough, but I'm glad to be back. Lots of people have this kind of thing. When I was going through the social media, I could see everybody under the sun has it, so apparently it's going around.
Yeah. I think Byron's dealing with something.
Oof.
That's why he's not here today.
Oof.
So, yeah. I actually went out the other night.
Where'd
Hung
you
out
go?
with them in Cloverdale.
Really?
Yeah.
And that wasn't a house? It was
No, like Leroy and then Chuck's.
Nice, Joey.
Which, by the way, just a free plug from Chuck's is, it's a high-end place. So
Okay.
bring your money. But it is fantastic. I think that's the best seafood restaurant for that sort of
Really?
like top-end sort of stuff. Amazing. Like really great place. And I'm glad to see it back up after the fire there. But yeah, it was good getting out and about. Now I skedaddled home at about 7. I'm like, oh, it's too late. I'm going to turn into a pumpkin. I need to get home.
Did you make contact with anyone in the wild?
Make contact?
Like, did somebody say, hey, there's Joey Clark?
No.
Okay.
No. Now, he was introducing me to a bartender, and she was saying her parents call her some blue-haired, like, liberal or whatever. And I said something to the effect of, well, some people think I'm like some conservative a-hole. And she asked, are you? And I'm like, it depends on who you ask.
Yeah.
See, for some conservatives, I'm not enough of one.
Right.
For others, like, and I'm learning, you can't just, like, you can't help pissing some people off and making everybody happy. It just doesn't work.
Well, some people look for that, Joey. They honestly go around the world looking to be angry about something.
Right. Well, and just a little. I hardly ever get anybody recognizes me or blowback, negative. Occasionally, if somebody recognizes me, it's usually nice.
Yeah. Joey, come hang with this guy. I'll give you some
really?
of that.
You get a lot of that?
I get a lot of it.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
I don't mind most of it.
See, you're actually friends with a bunch of people, whereas I'm not.
Is that my mistake?
Yeah,
my
I think that's what it is. You actually have like a network and contacts, and you're part of the community. Whereas I go to my little hobbit hole before I turn him into a pumpkin when it turns too late, and then I'm.
Well, that's why I feel like you should be in the wild more.
Okay.
Yeah,
maybe.
Do some of that interaction.
Maybe. But, it's one thing here, local radio. It's not really that glamorous to where we get much negative or positive.
Come hang with me, Joey.
Okay. Just saying that it's nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing at all compared to what, say, Donald Trump goes through.
Or
okay. Elon Musk goes through.
Okay.
So tonight, apparently, there's this big interview with Sean Hannity, my adopted godfather, and they're putting out little previews here or there.
Yeah.
And it's Trump and Elon together. You remember on Valentine's Day how they were like, "Oh, I hope they break up, and we're going to drive a wedge through."
I remember that joke. Yeah.
Well, here's Elon talking about TDS. I think y'all have heard of that before.
Again, you do all of this. I would think liberals would love the fact that you have the biggest electric vehicle company in the world.
Yeah, I mean, I used to be adored by the left,
Yeah, not anymore.
Less so these days.
He killed that, huh?
I mean, less so.
I really didn't.
Well, I mean, this whole sort of like, they call it like Trump derangement syndrome. And I didn't, you don't realize how real this is until like you can't reason with people. So like I was at a friend's birthday party in LA, just a birthday dinner. And it was like a nice, quiet dinner, and everyone was behaving normally. And I happened to mention, this is before the election, like a month or two before, I happened to mention the president's name. And it was like they got shot with a dart in the jugular that contained like methamphetamine and rabies, okay? And they're like, wow! And I'm like, what is wrong? Like, guys, like, you can't have like a normal conversation. Yeah. And it's like, it's like they become completely irrational.
Yeah. No, and there's a lot of that.
There is, but I also have heard there's a lot of on the other side of people going, I couldn't say it publicly, but I'm glad Trump's in there.
Oh, yeah, man.
So,
yeah, there's a lot of folks that had to keep it, like, repressed, like, keep it down.
Yep.
Like, keep that Trump love.
Yep.
Private.
Very private.
Private Trump love coming this Sunday.
I'm telling you, there's a lot of it out there. And the reason I see that is, again, TikTok and social media. How many more people are coming out going, I wasn't for this, but wow, look what he's doing here. And so. Yeah.
No, I think it's great. I think they're having way too much fun. And the other preview, and I guess the interview comes out tonight, is taking head on this tactic that's being used to try to drive a wedge between Trump and Elon.
Oh.
And I love how just in your face they are responding to it. Here it is. Let's listen in together.
They have many different things of hatred. Actually, Elon called me. He said, they're trying to drive us apart. I said, absolutely. No, they said, we have breaking news. Donald Trump has ceded control of the presidency.
I do remember that.
Musk. President Musk will be attending a cabinet meeting tonight at 8 o'clock. And I say, it's just so obvious. They're so bad at it. I used to think they were good at it. They're actually bad at it, because if they were good at it, I'd never be president.
See, and he's a little different this time around, and I'm loving it.
I'm loving it, dude.
Well, I hear where Judge Napolitano's coming from, him saying Doge is unconstitutional. I'm like, well, so is everything else. Doge is finding a bunch of other unconstitutional crap. Like, so what is constitutional?
Well, they ignore, how many amendments do they ignore on the regular?
Right.
If they're doing this and it's helping me out, I'm not going to complain. Sorry. And I know there's people out there that are jobs lost and all this and that and the other, and sorry.
Right.
There's a lot of this that need corrected and need corrected a long time ago. And weren't the Democrats, didn't they used to brag about doing this? Wasn't it?
Clinton and Gore and Obama even talked about all this.
So I don't understand where all the pushback's coming from.
Well, it's because the other team is destroying our little fiefdoms of privilege and pull that we claim are good for everyday people.
But that's just it. It's the everyday people that
have voted for the other.
Yeah.
No, and there's some folks out there, it's like, Alabama voted for so much for Trump. They raised money for Trump. Like, why are y'all taking away jobs? And it's like, number one, I haven't seen anybody fired in Huntsville yet. Like the 20,000 federal
Yeah,
workers.
I saw
there.
a number, but I don't.
No,
know.
I
It's not my
saw
world. I don't know.
headlines of they're experiencing anxiety. So it's this stupid,
welcome to my
like,
world.
like, wait, you actually haven't, like, and also they're offering 8 months severance.
There goes Eddie's anxiety right there.
Right.
7 months in Jamaica. Okay.
But by the way, I think when it's all said and done, Huntsville will net more federal jobs because of the FBI. Probably, you hear Senator Britt in Tuberville very much like, yeah, let's bring the FBI to Red Zone.
Space Force
Redstone.
coming back?
Yeah. So it's like, come on, y'all. But you make any move in any particular direction, and it's the end of the world.
Well,
like, because you have paused contracts and cut jobs in the federal government, that's why that plane flipped over in Toronto. That's what we're dealing with here. That's the logic.
But here's the thing, and this is blue collar Eddie. Probably going to tick some people off. But when factories and stuff, people like my generation got laid off, nobody raised any kind of cane. So don't get mad
You should
when
learn to
people like
code.
me, right, go, sorry it happened to you. It happened to me a long time ago. Sorry about your luck. Learn to code.
Right. And this whole idea that it's an old idea. It goes thousands of years old, where I vote for people because they give me stuff. And it's just like, that's not the path to prosperity. It's just not.
But I've never voted for anyone and gotten anything. Am I in the wrong
so
line?
maybe if you got some stuff, you'd be like, well,
Maybe it'd be a little different. But
yeah, I might like it a little more then. Oh my goodness. But even MSNBC, because you saw this come out with all the Social Security numbers,
Yeah.
like 60 million more numbers than there are people. And so now there's a big fight over actually seeing what did y'all actually pay out. The acting Social Security head has resigned over Doge's request to access that
okay,
data.
Joey, if you were that person, and I gave you a list of people over 100 years of age that you've been paying Social Security to, would you not resign in just shame, or would you go, oh, I'll fix that? I think there's so much coming out. They're going ahead and quitting now before they're just overwhelmed with it. Because now they can go hide.
Now, here's a number that MSNBC put out recently. And by the way, this is not a comprehensive search. I believe they said that here in the clip. Let's listen in together.
There was an Inspector General audit last year that showed over an 8-year period, the Social Security Administration made almost $72 billion in improper payments, a little less than 1% of payments in that time period. Now, the report also says that most of these improper payments were overpayments, not payments to deceased people or people who didn't qualify to receive these payments. At the same time, Jose, this effort by Doge is to go through this agency like every other and try to weed out waste and fraud.
Yeah, I mean, and also 72 billion, and that's without a comprehensive search. I mean, that's significant.
Yeah, that's without a comprehensive search.
What if you were married, Joey, and you and your wife were going over the budget?
Mm-hmm.
And you come up with these
By the way,
thousands
that's a
of-
lot. That's a heck of a hypothetical. I don't know if that's in the
Well,
cards.
there's these thousands of dollars that you go, baby, can I ask you what happened to it? And she just starts going ballistic. Do you assume there's some guilt there?
Well, maybe, but I might assume it was Elon Musk. And in fact, that's what a lot of people are saying right now.
Don't take away my excuse, Joey.
Christine Rice just put out there on X saying, my husband says Elon stole his Social Security and credit card number from a government database with his Doge powers and bought a bunch of OnlyFans subscriptions. Is this true? Is this happening to anyone else? How do I contest these fees? So if y'all are out there, husband or wife, and you're buying stuff that you really don't want to have to explain to your spouse, you just be like, Elon stole my information.
Now's your chance. You got a few week window here.
Right.
Take advantage of it.
Right. What is this $5,000 charge to the Pink Pony Club? That was Elon. I never been there. I've never even heard of it.
Never even heard of it.
Elon stole my information.
Yep, once again.
Him and his Doge. They stole our information. That's incredible. Oh, so like 80 grand over 8 years, but that's not a comprehensive search into the actual, like, people that aren't alive getting paid.
Right.
Foreign fraud
That's
rings.
just opening the
Yada, yada,
folder
yada.
going, hey, here's some obvious.
It's absolutely crazy. Oh, and by the way, just kind of running through this stuff. The ACLU, you know that, like the Civil Liberties Group, they sue folks. quote, the ACLU chief, quoting the chief of that group, quote, "We ain't going to lose on birthright citizenship."
Okay.
I just have a feeling they are.
Yeah, me too.
Like, that sort of confidence.
Very much so.
I'm like, yeah, you sure? No, we ain't.
Sure about that?
We ain't going to lose. Did he say we ain't going to lose, or did he say we ain't gonna lose on birthright citizenship? Because if you throw an ain't out there, you're not saying going, you're saying gonna.
Joe, if you throw an ain't out there, you really don't care about going or gonna.
Yeah, I know. I'm just, I'm like a large language model over here in this little brain in my skull over here. I'm trying to predict the probability of the next move. By the way, that's the other big thing today. Grok 3 released on the platform for premium users.
So is Grok 2 free now?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Or I don't know. But Grok 3 is, it's a lot of fun. It's a little better.
Yeah.
I was playing with it some, but people are already making games with it and doing all sorts of things you couldn't do with the other ones.
I have to check it out. I really hadn't. The only AI I've ever done is mock other realtors for using it to right there.
I think that's people's worry about like losing jobs to AI. I think actually you're going to get a lot of new jobs you could never have thought of if you get really good at programming the AI to do something.
Are you telling me to learn to code, Joey? Kind of feel like you're kind of giving me one of them learn to code, boy.
No, I mean, if you don't already know how to code, you shouldn't be trying to create things for the AI to code. Like that's, if you're a coder, AI is amazing for you. And it's probably what these Doge guys are using, some form of AI with their coding wisdom. Because if you go to doge.gov, what they're essentially doing is they burrowed into the heart of the federal government and they're just scanning everything.
Oh, yeah.
And they're just putting it out for God and everybody to see, to where it's like, this particular department issued this many regulations that cost probably about this much money. Here are how few underlying laws gave them that supposed authority to do that. And it's like a breakdown. What they're essentially doing is creating a full map of the federal government as it currently exists. And it's amazing.
I love what they're doing. I want them to do that with legislative bills before they're ever passed. Right. I want that done to it. So people like me, you, and everybody else can look at them and go, oh, wait a minute. They are trying to screw us openly again.
Right.
That's what should be done. That's what I think AI should be, but it won't be because it helps you and I.
But I think, for instance, like kids, a major skill to learn would be how to prompt these artificial intelligence models to do certain things. Things that you don't even, and you get good at that particular skill where you are able to do things you couldn't imagine before you got good at that skill. I think as you learn these things and their capabilities, and it'll probably be younger folks that are the ones doing this. I mean, maybe there's hope for you.
No, I'm the guy that's got like 4 or 5 of them, and they're running my snorkel business, Eddie.
Okay. You're going to buy some of those robots?
Yeah, dude, I can't wait.
Underwater robots?
No, they are just going to operate the snorkel hut.
Oh, the hut.
Yeah.
You'll actually be doing the snorkeling.
Yeah, I'll be the guy out there in the water, looking for things that happen in the water. Yeah, yeah. Right. And plus, I mean, I'm going to have them running all kinds of businesses for me. They don't need no sleep, right?
Right. By the way, there are the nerds right there on Fox Business that are making Grok. And they all introduce themselves, and Elon goes, "Hey, I'm Elon. I don't really do anything. I just show up every once in a while." And it's like,
just
they are such nerds.
Classic group of nerds.
And it is kind of amazing that, like, nerd power is very, very real. If you are numerate and you know how to code and manipulate this new virtual world, you are very powerful.
I got a feeling I know what their kryptonite is, though. A pretty woman.
Maybe.
It will, Joey, look at them boys. It will cripple them.
Yeah, maybe. They might be like...
They can't outcode a pretty woman, buddy.
Right, yeah, but have you seen the videos? Like the guy who is being chastised by... he got a woman, but he's being chastised by a woman about, you bought $5,000 worth of Pokemon cards? Are you serious?
Oh, yeah, I did see the video.
Yeah. It's like, if you want to catch them all, I'm serious. And I think that's kind of some of those types. It's like, they're not about women. They're about whatever they're focused on.
Not to knock the woman he was with, but how did she look?
No, you don't get to see her. She's just behind camera, which might be saying a lot.
Thank you very much.
Right, she's a secret 10 hanging out with that 400-poundy.
We all have kryptonite.
Right. No, actually, no, it wasn't me, honey, who bought all those Pokemon cards. Do you see them? I think it was Elon Musk. He stole my information and started buying all these things out there.
When I was sick and I kept hearing that, people were like, Elon Musk is going to take my credit card information. Mm-hmm. Didn't he used to own a money process? Okay, it was PayPal.
Yeah, PayPal. He helped
and not
start
only
it
that,
up.
so if he's the richest person in the world, why does he want your bad credit? Why does he want your 550 credit score?
Why did you go into that voice?
What? That's all I could think about. That's like, because those were the people that were screaming, he's going to steal my stuff. No, you would hope he would steal your stuff.
By the way, Democrats are in a panic. They are blowing an opportunity. That's from the New York Times. And the Atlantic has out there the coming Democrat baby bust. And the headline is essentially, during the first Trump administration, liberals weren't having a lot of kids. I think it's going to get worse.
So what are they doing?
I know. Europe is on the brink of a sovereign debt crisis. And by the way, I think Judge Knapp was wrong about this because I watched the clip. He's talking about the U.S. doesn't want the international order. We don't have the same values of democracy.
Somebody needs some testosterone over there. Bad, bad, bad.
There's no crying at the Munich Security Conference.
If you were...
You could cry at a NATO summit. You can't cry at the Munich Security Conference.
If you were an enemy of that particular state, would you not go, now's the time to invade? I've never seen them so soft. They will stand there and cry as we invade their country. Yes, come on.
By the way, Robert Kennedy, one of the first things RFK Jr. is going to do is to assess whether psychiatric and Ozempic drugs are threats to children. Which, we've talked a lot about, I think, the overprescription of SSRIs and a lot of other things, especially in young children.
100%.
U.S. Special Forces land in Mexico to begin training exercises for the next 40 days. It's just training exercises.
Not upset about it at all.
But y'all keep blaming Elon Musk for this, but I don't think you're ever going to tear him apart.
I don't think it's my 550 credit score.
Who keeps buying all these things on my credit card? It's Elon Musk. I know you're cheating on me. No, it was Elon. And by the way, you're right about Elon as far as the whole baby mama drama.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you see that broad over the weekend? I'd known her for a while, like Ashley St. Clair. She's always been like hot as a $2 pistol, but like,
what's her motivation?
She's got the crazy eyes going on.
Yeah, I mean, she's crazy.
She initially says, I bore the 13th child of Elon Musk 5 months ago, and the reason I'm coming out with it now on Valentine's Day is to just get ahead of these tabloids that have caught wind of it, so I'm going to tell my story on my terms. Then after she does that, the next day, the New York Post comes out with a full expose where they went to our apartment and had all these glamour shots of her and all this detail. And by the way, one glamour shot is her kind of pensively like sitting there, and next to her, like big, beautiful window, and she's not hurting for money anymore. And there's a chessboard, and people zoomed in on the chessboard. It's arranged in like the crazy
random.
Yeah, it's like you don't even know how to play chess. Why are you posing next to a chessboard? The nerds are on to you, woman.
I'm just gonna say the nerds.
That's kind of nuts.
So how many? 17 kids?
No, 13. I think that we know of.
Hey, man.
And then Elon,
like he can't afford them.
Elon, about a day later, retweeted responding to some historian like podcast saying, "Actually, I'm kind of very interested in the legacy of Genghis Khan." Come on, man. Come on. What a crazy time we're living in. 272-9228. That's 334-272-9228. Oh, and by the way, stuff's going on at the State House. You been down there? I'm going down there tomorrow at 9.
Make sure
hang
you
out with Jeff
Lysol
Poor
before you come back.
Yeah.
You got that mold problem.
And I refuse to wear a button-up shirt and a tie.
What you gonna wear?
What I wear every day. It's what I wore last week when I went down there.
No, you're fine.
Yeah, it's like
I just probably asked you to get him a newspaper for that hat.
Right. Yeah, I wore the leather one down there.
That means business.
Right.
You're the Inquirer kind of
guy. House Majority Leader Stadhagen's like, "Hey, buddy." I'm like, "Hey, how you doing?"
Putting out the vibe for you there, Joey?
No, and I just saw all these like guys younger than me all suited and booted, and I'm like,
Did you feel that they were waiting for like their boss to say, "Hey, next"? I mean, what are those guys there for, Joey? Suited and booted.
They're helping to make things happen.
How?
Like your job is to focus on this part of the bills. You might be a comms person working the outside game.
Okay.
You might be somebody, making contacts on the inside, making sure certain things are working, like we're whipping votes and whatnot.
Okay.
It could be we need you to literally write the bills. You could be a young lawyer who's like wise and understanding how to take a general idea and actually put it into legal language, that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
There could be like one guy just pet the dog.
There you
like you just sit over there and pet my dog, all right? And things I would do if I had money.
Another thing I thought about while I was sick, I heard some numbers go around about the prison again. When is Alabama going to get a Doge?
Well, Arthur Orr says we already have one. It's called ACEs.
When is Alabama going to get a Doge?
I don't know.
I would love to see that. I would love, if they ever do that for states, they need to start in the poorest states because that's where your most corruption is.
Yes. Yes, it is. 272-9228. How about this? We got to hit a break. But first, this part of the program brought to you by Josh and Leslie Ryder. They're at Dillon Rings. They are fantastic over there at
Dillon
Dillon Rings.
Folks, man.
Ready to help you out as a full-service jewelry shop, which means they have jewelry in stock.
Yep.
That is fantastic. High-end jewelry pieces to everyday jewelry, like $30, $50. Looks great still, but you're not as worried about going out in the town or running around with it on. And then, for that really nice occasion, you want that fine jewelry. They have all that there at Dillon Rings. First, they can also do spa treatments, which is to make that ring, let's say, or any piece of jewelry shine and shimmer like it's brand new again. Or it could be a repair like, something just broke, like a chain broke or a stone's falling out.
Yeah.
Or it could be you're looking for custom design work. And I'm looking at the Facebook page for Dillon Rings, and they said they made 2 custom bracelets for clients this past week. One used to be an antique diamond watch. The other was made from an inherited wedding set. So you can take stuff that you were given, that you inherited, that you're not ever going to wear, but it's very
sentimental value of it.
Well, it's also beautiful, but can I reform this to something I will actually wear and use all the time? They can do that there at Dillon Rings. So y'all get by there, 119 Brown Springs Road here in Montgomery, just off Atlanta Highway, sort of like you're going into the back end entrance of the AUM complex. And be sure to tell them that Joey and Eddie, those fellas on the radio, sent you.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.
1819 News.
A group called Clean Up Alabama is pushing for state lawmakers to consider a bill that was sidelined last year due to the focus on gambling legislation. The bill is sponsored by State Representative Arnold Mooney and would remove the exemptions that are placed on public schools and libraries regarding obscenity laws. Current state law prohibits someone from knowingly distributing sexually obscene materials for the purpose of monetary gain. This law does not apply to public libraries, schools, or colleges. The bill from Mooney now has 49 sponsors signed onto it, including the Speaker of the Alabama House and House Majority Leader. Despite all of this, HB 4 has yet to be brought up within the Judiciary Committee. Clean Up Alabama says with 50 state lawmakers approving of this bill, it should at least be scheduled for a committee hearing. Clean Up Alabama says that Alabamians have been wanting this common sense bill to be passed in order to protect children from exposure to sexually explicit materials without parental knowledge or consent. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Are you enjoying 1819 News? If so, consider joining 1819 News as a member. As a nonprofit news organization, we depend on the support of Alabamians like you. Memberships start out as little as $5 a month, and you'll get access to exclusive content only offered to our members. You'll be supporting independent journalism done by people who cherish Alabama values. Become a member today by visiting 1819news.com and clicking Become a Member. That's 1819news.com and click Become a Member today.
Live Nation is now selling its Oak Mountain Amphitheater to the city of Pelham. Live Nation recently built the Coca-Cola Amphitheater in Birmingham and is now unloading the closed-down amphitheater to the city for $5.3 million. The amphitheater, along with additional property, will provide the city with 43 acres. The city of Pelham plans to build a new Pelham Arts and Entertainment District with this new purchase. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
Adams Drugs has been committed to the health care of the people of the River region for over 62 years. We value the trust each customer has in our pharmacists, techs, and entire staff. If you have not experienced the difference of Adams Drugs and are not satisfied with the customer service that you get in the big box stores, we invite you to visit any of our locations and see how committed we are to your satisfaction. Adams Drugs offers a variety of services that you will not find in all pharmacies in the River region. Personalized compounding, area-wide delivery, wellness screenings, immunizations, medication consultations, and specialized packaging, just to name a few. Visit us at our website, adamsdrugs.net, and find the location nearest you. Adams Drugs has 12 convenient locations to serve you. Your satisfaction is our #1 goal. Adams Drugs is your local Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Riverside Chevrolet Wetumpka. If it's Chevy, it's Riverside. Best price, best selection. Check them out on the web at riversideusa.net.
Rich Thomas Weather. We are below normal now, but some much colder air is on the way. Today's high in the upper 50s. Partial sunshine, but clouds on the increase. Then showers becoming likely after midnight tonight and first part of the day on Wednesday. Tonight's low 42 will be up to about 54 on Wednesday, becoming breezy. Then much colder Wednesday night, low in the mid-20s, wind chill factor teens. Thursday will be the coldest day, high temperature only 42, down near 20 by dawn on Friday morning. Friday's high temperature will stay in the 40s, and another very chilly day on Saturday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
You can make your ASC loan payments from your phone anytime, anywhere. It's quick and easy. www.yourasccu.com. Federally insured by NCUA.
Hey, not to be dramatic, but you should smell this. Smells so good.
Whoa, that's quite the reaction to mixing and matching Gain scents. Let's hear another from Ashley, who mixed Gain products and went,
I'm so excited.
yes, you are. What about you, Isaiah?
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. And Emily summed it up like so.
It is just chef's kiss.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Mix, match, more happy with Gain.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man, Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money? Well, like most smart folks, we call David Ernest. You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist? That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. I see. Yes, he is our preferred money man. The money man with the money plan. You've been paying attention. Well, could you give us those numbers one more time? 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man. Oh, what's that? I'm not an elk. Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you? Knights of Columbus. I am not even going to make a comment. Well, the baby liked it. The River Region's first and only news talk station on FM. Live, local talk. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
This is how you conduct yourself in a democracy?
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. This part of the program brought to you by Bo Goodson and the Goodson Group. And there at the Goodson Group, Bo and his team, well, they're ready to help you whether you're looking to buy or sell here in the River Region real estate market, or maybe you're looking to rent out that property of yours. Well, they can help you with a reasonable fee if you want to go in that direction. Great idea here in this market. But also there at the Goodson Group, the crown jewel there is the Bo Goodson Real Estate School. I wish the music had kept playing a little longer.
She just killed it there.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for killing the vibe. But the Bo Goodson Real Estate School, one of the most highly acclaimed real estate programs in the state here, because Bo's bringing his 50-plus years of experience to bear in the class. He's been through it all, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Very interactive course. And the proof is a lot of folks that have gone on to great success in the River Region real estate market as more knowledgeable private players or as fully licensed real estate agents. But it's not just the River Region market. A lot of folks take Bo's course and they've moved and they're still in the real estate game and they're doing great. So y'all check them out today. That's the Goodson Group. You can always go to thegoodsongroup.com or call them at 551-0225. That's 551-0225. Bo Goodson and the Goodson Group. Great sponsor here of the program. Again, the number to get in is 334-272-9228. I think for folks on stream, it's become a bit of a game, especially when I'm here by myself.
Yeah.
It's like, how many times is Robert going to get on?
Does Robert do the streaming?
No, he just listens on the radio.
Okay.
It's just that I think it's funny to people. It probably is if I was watching myself when I go, hey, you're on there. Who's this? And it's him again. And I'm like, one a day. I love you, Robert, if you're listening right now. But it's
Margaret.
It's one a day. One call. Anyway.
I know the stream can be really mean sometimes. So.
Oh, yeah, well.
I've learned don't fight it.
We still have our great friend there from upstate New York, Matthew, tuning in.
Excellent.
Said he loves listening to myself and the guests and the callers. Says it continues to be a treat. And I appreciate you tuning in, Matthew. Really do.
Hey, I just read this article during the break about that Delta plane crash.
Yeah, pretty crazy stuff.
Passengers got no warning.
No warning?
But I'm looking at the video.
I mean,
how do you put out the warning? Hey, we're flipping upside down right now.
There are folks saying that this is what happens if you don't put your phone in airplane mode.
Dude, I just
have you seen the new video that came out?
Yeah. It's to me that video becomes very obvious what happened.
Here, let's see this here. Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, the landing gear
just collapsed there.
And how did everybody survive that?
That's what's crazy to me,
man.
It has no wings left, no tail section left. I mean, that's amazing. Airplane building survivability has come a long way. Because you're still landing, you're coming in hot, man.
Yeah, we could do it slow here. So here it's coming in, going down. Yep, and it's that right landing gear that just snaps.
Yeah.
And so it hits the front, both wings snap, and it starts rolling.
They said they felt like bats in the cave, man.
But all 80 passengers alive.
That is amazing to me.
You said some got some of that flame retardant in their face?
Yeah, well, they were evacuating the plane. There's two guys, they might have worked for the airline, but they were trying to help evacuate. And the guys, they were spraying that retardant on the backside of the plane, which is, I don't know, 50, 100 feet away. They sprayed it a little bit. But I did, that visual just messed me up, seeing a plane upside down. And then there's video of people getting off from inside the plane. God was with them that day, dude. I just can't imagine.
One, I always, because I've done the connecting flight from Montgomery straight to D.C. or Montgomery to Atlanta, and a smaller plane doesn't feel as safe for whatever reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. I used to it. The craziest trip was I went from Lake Havasu, Arizona to Vegas one time, and literally like a crop duster type. And you'll drop 400 feet.
Yeah.
You know, and that ain't good for a fat boy. That was, and when you get on the plane, they go, how much you weigh? What, huh? Yeah, I need to know where,
yeah,
bounce
we
the load.
Balance this out, yeah.
Like, geez, I didn't know I was that fat.
And they emphasize, why did you say load that way and look at me?
Put that guy on the wing.
272-9228. Again, that's 334-272-9228. But that's, why are all these planes having problems all over?
I don't know.
That's probably Trump and Musk's fault.
It is. In fact, I think that's what Pete Buttigieg said. And they put out a stat of a large percentage of FAA workers that work from home.
What?
A very large stat.
Doing what?
That's what I was kind of wondering. Now, I know there are some positions you certainly could do from home, but...
I saw one where it was a British professor whose wife had been getting $1 million grant from USAID. And he's like, she was doing great work in Afghanistan.
Oh, what was she doing?
And she was about to get another $1 million to continue the great work. And then you cut to a clip of her, and she is teaching poor Afghani nationals about modern art.
Huh?
You know, Duchamp or whatever, like the toilet on its side, we put our mud on it. It's her teaching, and there's an Afghani translator translating it in.
How
and it's like, how many of y'all know what this is? Toilet!
Yeah. Fill it with some crap on the side.
if these are the people that are the face of the West, of Brits and Americans in Afghanistan, they think we're crazy. They probably think we're demons.
Yeah. But he would come out in defense of that?
Yes. My wife was doing wonderful work there, teaching them
how
about
is that
modern...
even measurable?
How does that...
How is that measurable that work would be the least bit measurable?
I know. And like, for instance, if you are going to college and you want to take an art appreciation course, it probably is a good thing for you to take to understand the world especially if you're going to do things within that world.
You're doing, your whole sphere. Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
Like, you should understand what came before you, but outside of the Western context, a lot of this stuff is just bonkers.
Dude, if I'm eating dirt 3 meals a day, I don't care about art. I got to be honest. I don't care.
Well, you know, the same government that's got this British bird preaching about modern art to you, we'll be talking about Andy Warhol next. You also know that same government is funding the poppy fields.
Right.
And I'm like, come on, man. It's absurd.
It is. And these are just the easy stuff. This is not the deep dives.
Oh, Doge ain't stopping.
I hope
Doge ain't stopping at all. And did you see, the U.S. debt clock website?
I haven't looked at it in a while.
They've added a Doge savings calculator to it.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Let's see if I can pull it up real quick. Put it up on the stream here. So you have the U.S. debt clock.
Has it slowed down at all?
No, it hasn't.
It's like I'm at the gas pump.
But you see, here's the full national debt, like federal spending. Yeah, it just keeps on going up. And then there's now a Doge clock, which is all about the department here. If you put your cursor over it, it describes it. The Department of Government Efficiency Advisory Commission, the real-time savings objective from reducing government waste, fraud, and abuse in federal government agencies. And it just is a little shy of $110 billion now. They've already found a safe.
I wish I could, everybody always wants to look into the future, but I wish I could look about 8 months into the future to see how this ends up.
Yeah.
Do Americans get one hell of a tax rebate? What happens?
We'll see.
I know.
We'll see. But before we hit a break, let's do a Senator John Kennedy
Ooh,
palate
please.
cleanser.
Please.
I think this is with Hannity the other night.
All right.
In terms of the Democrats, I've got a lot of friends who are Democrats, and they haven't asked me for advice. But if I did, I'd tell them, look, you just got to try harder not to suck. I mean,
that's some solid advice right there.
Think about it.
Try harder not to. What did he say?
Me for advice, but if I did, I'd tell them, look, you just got to try harder not to suck. I mean, think about it.
Solid.
272-9228. We'll be right back.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
Hey there, it's Hannah Grantham.
And I'm Eddie Bader. We're with Forest Meadows Homes and Land, and we're here to make your real estate experience unforgettable.
When it comes to buying or selling, who you have on your side really does make a difference.
That's right. We know this market, and we know how to get results. We know how to change that for sale sign into a sold sign.
With our local expertise and commitment to you, we make sure your real estate dreams become a reality. So if you're ready to buy or sell, give us a call today at 334-368-6358.
Live, local talk. The River Region's most trusted voice for news and opinion. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Coming up in the program, Martha Stewart, hot or not. Apparently that's a thing now.
Dude, rude. I'm just saying.
I wasn't even going to out you as the one who brought this up. Is this a thing, or is this just a thing? Is this just a thing for you, or is it like a thing online?
It's a thing online, and I went down the rabbit hole, and I'm a man of a certain age now, and I can appreciate it.
We'll have to get to that.
You got to hurry.
We also have a experience of crime in Montgomery.
Yeah.
Luckily, nobody hurt.
Oh, okay.
But there's some property damage, and we'll get into that in the next hour. I had somebody message me directly about their experience, and I'm not going to give their name, but I will describe what occurred.
Okay.
It's not the most harrowing thing in the world, but it ain't cool either. So we'll be getting into that. And, a bunch of other stuff, whatever comes to mind. Who knows what late breaking news might occur in the middle of the show that we need to cover. This part of the program.
Nothing.
What?
Nothing. We'll get there.
Okay. You really want to do the Martha Stewart thing now? I was going to give us some room to breathe and, actually talk this thing through, not just mention, oh, yeah, I think she's smoking.
I didn't.
This part of the program brought to you by James Cole and Cole Plumbing. And so if you got any plumbing problem at all, could be simple, like clogged drain or low water pressure. Could be you flush the toilet and all of a sudden you see something bubbling up in the sink or the shower drain.
That ain't no good, Joe.
That's really bad, actually.
They have a smell to it.
Maybe you have a massive leak inside or outside your home. Cole Plumbing understands time is of the essence, and they will get to you and fix the problem with minimal discomfort in your home. That means they're not going to have to tear out a bunch of drywall, dig up a huge hole in your yard. And with precision and expertise, they can get the job done. Or maybe you're just looking to upgrade, add accessories to the bathroom or to the kitchen, taller toilet, or maybe it's time for a new garbage disposal.
Oh, there you go.
They can help you out with all of these things there at Cole Plumbing. Call them up today, make an appointment at 279-8919. That's 279-8919. And just remember, folks, when you have trouble with your bowl,
call on Cole, Joey.
Second hour coming up.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. The U.S. and Russia have completed their first round of high-level talks in years. In a reversal of U.S. foreign policy, the two sides met face-to-face in Saudi Arabia and agreed to start working toward ending the war in Ukraine and improving diplomatic and economic ties. No Ukrainian officials were present at that meeting. The crash of a passenger jet that flipped while landing at Toronto, Canada, was the fourth major aviation accident in North America in the past 3 weeks. All 80 aboard the Delta Airlines flight from Minneapolis that flipped Monday did survive. Authorities say at least 18 people suffered relatively minor injuries. Only 2 remain in the hospital. The Dow is dropping 88 points, the NASDAQ losing 50. This is SRN News.
Happy birthday to us. 2 surprises for you. 2 surprises from NordVPN. 2 surprises for you.
Celebrate twice as much with NordVPN. We have a special birthday deal. Get 72% off and a coupon for up to 1 year free. NordVPN is rated as excellent on PC Mag. Visit NordVPN.com and discover one of the most advanced VPNs in the world. What are the benefits? Secure up to 10 devices with a single account. Receive alerts if your email address leaks to the dark web. Reduce the risk of phishing, scams, and malware with NordVPN's Threat Protection Pro tool. Encrypt your online traffic and browse with more peace of mind. Get the special birthday deal at NordVPN.com. Additional terms apply. NordVPN. Cybersecurity built for every day.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Wiley Sanders Truck Lines, where over-the-road dump truck drivers are needed right now. Home twice a week and every weekend, must leave early on Sunday with Blue Cross Blue Shield. Call them now at 855-777-9785.
Rich Thomas Weather.
We are below normal now, but some much colder air is on the way. Today's high in the upper 50s. Partial sunshine, but clouds on the increase. Then showers becoming likely after midnight tonight and first part of the day on Wednesday. Tonight's low 42 will be up to about 54 on Wednesday, becoming breezy. Then much colder Wednesday night, low in the mid-20s, wind chill factor teens. Thursday will be the coldest day, high temperature only 42, down near 20 by dawn on Friday morning. Friday's high temperature will stay in the 40s, and another very chilly day on Saturday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Budget Floors and More is your low price leader for everything you need for flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies. For the best prices on luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, flooring installation supplies, and more, shop Budget Floors and More, Hunter Lane across from Del Rey to Publix.
From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, these are today's top stories. A Prattville woman has been charged with embezzling from the Marbury football team. Prattville police arrested former Marbury Football Booster Club treasurer Melanie Morrison on Tuesday. Morrison is accused of illegally transferring over $30,000 to her personal bank account through various transactions over the past 2 years. A reward of up to $100,000 is being offered by the U.S. Postal Service for information leading to the arrest and conviction of a Montgomery woman. Rashima Shiante Shackelford is wanted on outstanding felony warrants for bank fraud and conspiracy to commit mail and bank fraud. Federal authorities did not release any additional details. Open enrollment for Alabama's new school choice educational savings account program is now underway. Families may apply for the 2025-26 school year through April 7th, with award notifications scheduled to be sent out on May 1st. Alabama is the 14th state to provide families with an education savings account option. From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, I'm Sky Mosley.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Hi, this is Sharon with the Depot Furniture Gallery. Choosing to advertise with Blue Water was an easy decision to make. Our goal was to increase sales, and they reached the audience that we wanted to connect with. Our sales rep has been great to work with, and we couldn't be happier with the results.
Radio reaches over 90% of everyone in the river region. Shouldn't your ads be out there where your customers are? Call us to find out more. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
What's your biggest investment? More than likely, it's your home. So treat it that way when you hire a painting contractor. With PBS Painting, there are no gimmicks, no $99 special. Just quality painting and someone who treats your home with the same respect that you do. At PBS Painting, we have been painting for years and look forward to many more years to come. With PBS Painting, the job gets prepped properly, whether it's cleaning, scraping, or priming. We always use quality products, which is a must for a quality paint job. So if you're looking for a painter that doesn't need upfront money and is on the job at all times, then please give me a call. Scott Bowers and PBS Painting, 294-5122. That's PBS Painting, 294-5122. Look at some of our work on Facebook at PBS Painting Montgomery.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
If you get a cough, please.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon, as we call this show online, Joey Clark Live. Like and subscribe on YouTube, just Joey Clark Live, or join X. Like follow Trump, follow Vance, follow Elon maybe, and then follow me at the Joey Clark. And actually, I'm starting to notice we're getting more local folks on there. And
Yeah.
appreciate all y'all jumping on.
Alabama's waking up to X.
Yeah, hopefully. I think it's coming along, though. Alabama's got a good TikTok presence, right?
Dude. Yeah.
Right.
Kind of we lean into the stereotype a little bit on there sometimes.
What stereotype?
The redneck ability to.
Well, we do have a lot of rednecks.
Yeah.
But we say that with love, right?
And honestly, we lean into the ignorance sometimes on there.
Well, yeah.
But that's TikTok.
Right. Well, and that's people.
Yeah.
In general.
Yeah. Just
You know,
Alabama
whenever-
ain't afraid to hide it.
Whenever I feel bad about, saying most political discourse is sort of just programming and it's like emotional triggers people have been taught to have. And then I look at myself in the mirror and I watch all these other debates that happen online and all these shows. I'm like, yeah. No, we're very emotional.
We
We're
are.
not very rational creatures
at
the end of the day.
I will say this about TikTok, and this is social media. I guess I'm on most of it.
Mm-hmm.
They'll put out stories of people raising money, and it'll be people fighting cancer, just all kinds of things.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how they get paid or whatever, but they'll put a message on there, stay for 30 seconds, whatever. That gets me, and I'm glad. And a lot of times people will come back. Like there was one the other day, this young lady, her brother has autism, and he's in a wheelchair, but he wants to contribute to society so bad. So he started making T-shirts. And she put a TikTok out. She's like, hey, he sold like 3 shirts. If you guys could help my brother, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Like the next day, you see him and he's just overwhelmed. I mean, they've got thousands and thousands of orders for those shirts now.
Before you start looking better after your fight with the flu, do you have a wheelchair?
Joey, I would not tell you that I haven't considered what you're thinking.
With like a big blanket you can put over your legs.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I've considered it because I've seen a lot of the success. However, I had to sleep at night.
Then we'll put something like underneath that actually guards your legs underneath the blanket. So we'll like prove it, like stab you with a fork. Be like, look, you didn't feel a thing.
There was a good TikTok with that where the lady was testing out shin guards and the guy hit her on the shins with a baseball bat. And then he returned the favor and she got the bat and she hit him on the shin that did not have the shin guard.
And then there's another thing you discovered on TikTok about Martha Stewart.
Oh, yeah, dude. The thirst trap, Martha Stewart.
Yeah, and apparently this has been a thing for the last few years, and I've just been oblivious about it.
Apparently,
she's now a sex symbol or something?
For a certain age of men, but the age of men is what surprises me. It's younger men, your age and a little bit younger.
What?
Yes.
Okay, so I pulled up one of these so-called thirst trap photos.
Yeah, which I just recently learned what that meant, by the way.
Oh, Eddie's thirsty.
I'll probably be using that term for a little while.
Eddie two pies. Boy, eating all that pie doesn't, it kind of makes you. Okay, this
Look
is.
at that.
No.
Nobody's grandmother needs to be putting that photo out.
No. Like, that's not doing it for me, man.
How old she look, though, Joey?
She looks old.
No, she doesn't.
Yes,
Joey.
she does.
Are you telling me she looks 50 plus?
No, the clavicle chest area gives it away. I'm not talking about her.
I see what you're saying there. So maybe she should have worn something a little more high rise.
Not her face looks a lot younger than, because she's 80 something there.
Yeah.
So her face looks a lot younger than 80. I'll give her that.
Yeah.
But it's a little.
If you saw that photo, would you immediately go, oh, wow, that's Martha Stewart?
No. I wouldn't. No, and she's looking better than Madonna. I'll give her that.
And that was kind of where this thing was going, where women of a certain age, Tulsi Gabbard being one of them, are getting younger men's attention more than ever before.
But like, what, Tulsi Gabbard's like 40 something?
I have no idea. I really don't know.
So, like, I'm 36. She's not that much older than me. Yeah, it's more
There's
like
what's that Tallulah girl that you like so much?
She's like my age.
Really?
Yeah. No,
I
a lot
thought
of
she
these
was
folks
much
are in
older.
like their late 30s and 40s.
Interesting. Well, you guys are.
No, you should worry about me if I'm like, hey, Susan Collins had some work done.
Oh, I wouldn't worry about you then. I'd just immediately take you to the hospital.
All right. So this is the wholesome stuff you look at on TikTok, is whether or not old women
who are
done up are a little high.
I fall into those kind of traps.
Oh, you fall into
those
trap.
traps. Yeah.
Right. You're just an emotional creature,
I am.
and they trigger you and hit a certain button, and
this
you're
is what
like,
TikTok
yeah.
does. This is what they do. They'll lure you into these traps,
Mm-hmm.
and then they know you're really vulnerable, and they'll throw up one of those money-raising videos, and you're like, oh, I feel like crap now.
Yeah,
I feel
right,
awful. What a
right.
shameful
And then they
person I
give
am."
you back the Martha stuff, and it's like, see this next one.
Yep, that's pretty much it.
And
The roller coaster, Joey.
We're not sophisticated animals. We really are not, folks. Now, just the other day.
Yeah.
A person, not even going to say if it's a man or a woman, a person messaged me on X, who's a local.
Okay.
And this person, well, I just kind of want to read what they're putting out there. Because I'm seeing a photo here. Looks like a truck window.
Mm-hmm.
With what is very clearly, yep, that's a bullet hole.
Oh.
This person wrote, came into work this morning on McGee Road. You know where that is, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty, that used to be a nice spot.
Used to be.
Only to find the windows of one of the company vehicles shot out. After doing my own detective work, my whole truck is shot up.
Ooh.
So I backtraced the trajectory to a nearby gas station. There are at least 30 shell casings of auto and semi-auto rounds on the ground. The store clerk said they called 911 last night at around 11 p.m. and nobody showed up yet. They even have closed-circuit video system DVR footage.
Mm-hmm.
I called MPD to report this morning, to report the truck, and that patrol officer said somebody called it in last night. All he did was write the case file number down for me and left. That's when I started walking around and saw all the other stuff. No help whatsoever. What a joke.
No. I get calls from people like this that I know on a regular and say, Eddie, can you look up this address of this house and see who owned it? Because I think the people that are living there are squatting. And they're usually not squatting. They're tenants. And they don't care.
By the way, I'm seeing more photos. Like, it is shot to hell.
Yeah.
Like the little like rubber part seal for a door, that's got a bullet hole through it. The front bumper.
Just random shots.
All throughout the back passenger side on the shotgun side. It looks like somebody took a shotgun to it or took one of these Glock switches to it, which I guess that's making its way through the Alabama legislature. If you, like, they're upping the penalty if you use a Glock switch, say, to kill a person, then you could get life.
But shouldn't you get life anyway for killing the person?
Yeah.
I'm curious. Not knocking nobody.
I guess they're obviously, yes, you have to have your day in court, and there can be different reasons, but it's premeditated, and you just ambush like a place thinking a certain person is there, and you kill a bunch of people. Yeah, you should probably not get out of prison.
Take it one step further. If you are so irresponsible and you fire a weapon and it kills anybody, we go right to you. You go right to jail. Goodbye. It comes with responsibility, but if you don't hold folks accountable, this is what we get.
Right. So that's just one person's experience here in Montgomery.
And honestly, let's be honest. They got DVR footage. It wouldn't take too much of an investigator to figure out what really happened.
Yeah.
Here's the license plate. Just start, lock them up. But they're not even willing to do that. So that's why people like me ride around armed to the teeth.
But there is a crime package making its way through the Alabama legislature.
Is it going to be successful as they have been in the past?
No, some of it just makes more sense, like more resources, more funding for these metro area crime suppression units. Like we did see a change here in Montgomery when the state and county started working with the city.
Yep.
Though I think it was more Leah that took the lead on that.
I think you're right.
But everybody is part of the team, and it did show some success, so that should be copied, especially in Birmingham, but anywhere in the state. Doesn't have to be a big city where you're seeing issues cropping up. And also, if we're going to be a state that houses more of the FBI, you better believe if there's any sort of corruption at all, especially with a new FBI, they might be looking into it. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
But the idea of adding more resources to the crime suppression unit, I think is a fairly good idea. Stricter penalties for using firearms in a violent, aggressive way. Yeah,
sure.
I think that's a fairly good idea. But at the end of the day, I kind of look at this and go, well, if you're not able to enforce all this stuff, Because your force levels aren't where they need to be. Maybe it's not even your own fault. It could be years of, a problem that was caused by years. May take a while to get out of, but still, need to get on top of it.
Oh, no doubt.
It has not gone away.
No doubt. And it makes everybody's life just that much harder.
But of course, I think the response after stuff like this comes out is, well, you got to give us more money.
That's what they always say. You throw good money at bad problems.
Actually, I phrased that wrong. We need to take more of your money.
Again, good money at bad problems doesn't solve it. That's why in the corporate world, these things usually get filtered out. Eventually, they get tired of throwing good money at bad ideas, and they start getting rid of those people that keep giving the bad ideas.
Yeah. I need to get this Martha Stewart photo off.
Working on you, ain't it?
No, it's not working on me. It's freaking me out. It's like, Grandma, why are you taking sexy photos and posting them on the internet? It's just gross. You should be curled up.
So today you're not into older women?
You should be curled up knitting a sweater by the fire. Remembering all the good drugs you took at Studio 54.
In that picture, she is the fire, Joey.
You're gross. You're just gross. 272-9228. No, like, older women can be beautiful, but the attempt at 80 to be sexy is a little like, oh no. Because in my standing theory, I've held this theory for years. I think the older I get, the more it becomes true. It's like men and women, as they get older, they just kind of start looking the same.
True, but something that never seems to leave you or me or anyone else is that vanity. That, you're old and ugly, but I'm still hot.
Maybe none of us is hot.
That's the truth.
Maybe we're all just gross.
That's the honest to God
and
truth.
We're lying about it. 272-9228. Let's go to line 1. You're on there. Who's this?
Papa B.
Hey, Papa B.
How you doing?
Hey, girl, baby, girl.
Oh, girl, baby, girl. Oh, really? Don't even play.
Shut up, silly woman. Oh, man. I tell you, it's like trying to drink water through a fire, hose or something.
Oh, yeah.
Stuff that's coming. Can't get it all. I just can't. You can't get it all consumed. It's just too much. It's too much winning. But I can take it. Keep it coming,
Oh, I want more winning.
James Carville said the other day that the Democrats just need to lay down and play possum for a little while.
That's what he said. Well, it might not be a bad idea.
No, because they getting run over pretty dang good right now.
Is that how he said it, though? Is that exactly?
He had some more colorful language.
Or he was like, they need to effing play effing possum.
Yep, that's pretty much how he said it.
Yeah, all right.
Well, James Carville, proof positive that aliens have interbred.
Yes, you ain't kidding.
So, no, the argument is over. Problem is, solved. We know that aliens have come down to Earth. Anyway, so first of all, Judge Knapp, I like Judge Knapp, but he's been wrong so many times that there's no point in trying to talk, think that he's right about Doges being unconstitutional. I mean, he was wrong. He was wrong about the Russia stuff, for heaven's sake. He even had the wool pulled over the eyes of people like you, Joey, who was giving credibility to people who are investigating Russia at the time. And then, of course, the lawfare. Oh, that's some justified cases. Yeah. No, they weren't. So, I mean, I like Judge Knapp, but he's wrong about some things, and that's one of them. So I don't, really want to give him too much rope on that one.
It's like, whose opinion is unconstitutional is where I'm at. Like, we're going to argue this out in the courts, and it's going to come down to the decisions of the judges actually sitting on that high court. On the Russia thing, no, he was taken off Fox for a while because he was early to the party, saying a lot of British intel was being used in this sort of stuff, which Christopher Steele was.
And I guess I might have been wrong about that. I thought he was one of the early ones saying that the investigation was that was right to be investigated and such. I apologize for that.
No, yeah, he was more on the side of they're using FISA to spy on the president, and they're using the Five
He
Eyes
was
to
taken
spy
off the air because of
in particular referencing British intelligence.
Okay. Well, I'm not wrong about the lawfare stuff though, because he did give credibility to the courts on that one and the prosecution. That is true. And so anyway, you know what Elon is doing, and I guess you can tell me, what are they doing with all these funds that they're discovering have been misused or were budgeted out? I mean, are they like recouping it? Are they?
Some of it they are, because they'll even tell you
again?
they got claw marks on it to bring it back. But a lot of it, I don't know what they're doing besides announcing, hey, like all the 100-plus-year-old people that were getting SSI, how are you going to get that back?
Yeah. Like some of this is like they can stop contracts. The president has the authority to do it. Like there's a lot of stuff they can do. Others, it's just, no, we're going to point it out.
That's all you can do.
Watch y'all defend it at this point. Congress is going to have to play its role at some point.
I know it. It's true. That's so true. You know, y'all see these millions of 100-plus-year-old folks on the Social Security rolls and say, oh, the Social Security check's gone out. I'm looking at it, and I mean, there's a lot. From the numbers I was looking at, it's close to 12 million people. I see voters. You know, those Social Security numbers may very well have been used to do fraudulent voting.
Very well could have been.
And, you know, now checks too, okay, don't get me wrong. But, you know, that's all. Well, what's that guy's name over in South Carolina? The Democrat congressman. Crap it, I can't think of his name right now. But anyway, he said all he needed was a warm body and an address. Social Security number probably helps out with that too. I'm thinking you were going to find out that those Social Security numbers may very well have been used for more than just, you know, an extra check for somebody.
Well, my thing is, if
anyway,
they cut them a check and Social Security doesn't go to a house anymore, it goes to an account. We've got information of who that person is. Somebody should be knocking at the door. It could be just a typo, but I don't think there's that many typos.
Somebody's cashing the check.
Yep.
Well, but the most valuable thing Doge is doing is they are doing this full internal scan of the federal government and essentially providing a roadmap of full accounting of what the federal government is. Because there's there are even folks that have been working in it a long time go, well, I don't know exactly how many departments or agencies we have or where exactly, because it's so big. And so the service of just mapping this and putting it in easily digestible graphics, just go to doge.gov, folks, and you can see what I'm talking about. I think this is going to be a roadmap to get rid of a lot of the stuff. And I suspect they end up finding, to your point, even more stuff that shows this web that's been weaved and how many folks are taking a big rake off this huge pot of money.
Yep.
They did not do this just by happenstance. This big old system of, like you said, webs, this cobweb or spider's web that has been up going, they didn't do it by happenstance. They did it on purpose. All of this stuff is a very clever way to hide all kinds of things. Money, you know, being the most obvious probably. So, yeah, and that's the reason they're really screaming so loudly. I couldn't get over Michael Steele, the one-time, chair of the Republican Party, hollering and screaming about the Republicans and what they're doing, what they're all doing. And, oh, man, it shows his true colors, and it shows the true colors of a lot of Republicans, I think, when things start coming down and we're finding a lot of things out, you know. So, anyway, I still say we ought to have a TV show. They call it Dogeball. I mean, some kind of game show type thing where they bring out the news every night. But anyway, all right, guys, thanks a lot for letting me call in. I'm enjoying the show.
Appreciate it, Papa B. No, I think Elon needs to fund and then broadcast it on X an actual basketball team.
Really?
You remember the movie?
Oh, yes, I remember it very well.
Guys, you stop calling me that. Right. So good. It's a funny movie.
It's a great movie.
But like, can't you see, like that would be fun? It probably wouldn't be too expensive to stand up.
Oh no, it wouldn't be.
Because you're not talking about big facilities. It would be a stupid like sport thing, but it wouldn't take much athleticism. So you have a lot of folks that could get in on the action and want to be like, I'll be a team for that thing.
Ooh.
I'm just saying. Elon, bring basketball to life. That's the next big project. While you're trying to figure out Mars and AI and all sorts of other stuff. Like
a big project. I don't know. With the help of his nerds, maybe. Maybe.
Now, what do you think about the idea of bringing back segregation?
I'm not down with that.
Well, it's not my idea.
I didn't think
it was a Princeton professor on a podcast. Remember Trevor Noah? Yeah. They're talking about like, sometimes, birds of a feather flock together. So we should probably, maybe integration was a bad idea.
I'm glad they're having an open conversation about it, but I don't think you're ever really allowed to have a true open conversation.
I mean, we could play their conversation here in a second, but yeah, especially as a white guy in Montgomery, Alabama, I'm like, oh, even I'm a little like, oh, I'm a little triggered. I'm going to start crying like the John.
But what if you were in Japan and they had that conversation? Would you be so triggered? Or say in the Koreas?
No, in Japan, I'll never be Japanese.
Right. In the Koreas, would you?
Yeah, I'm never going to be Korean. Right. No, the Koreans are the most racist. Seriously.
Okay, so you're in Jamaica.
And I don't know that much about South Korea, but from what I've read about North Korea in particular, they claim they're the purest race on earth or something, and that's how they knock South Koreans is like y'all mixed with all these other people.
They also send them poop balloons. That's pretty funny too.
Ugh. No, the Koreans are pretty bad.
Yeah, but Jamaica, anywhere, man. It's just.
Well, it's almost like it exists all over the world.
It does. Most other places are like, yeah, because we're Japanese and you're not, and that's just acceptable.
Well. I mean, I do still believe in like liberty.
I do too.
And like, you don't want to like cut off relationships before you even know people. You know what I mean? Like because of things they can't control. But a lot of people are doing it.
Yeah.
And homophily, birds of a feather flock together is a very real thing.
Oh, no doubt.
But it's just like, okay.
Smokers and non-smokers.
Like, really living the dream here, I guess. We'll get into that conversation in a second. Because I saw that and I'm like, am I really going to say this on air? Maybe,
I saw it too, but I just figured it's just another extremist, and
maybe we should bring segregation back. No, I don't like the ring of that. I think that's going.
Plus, how was it working out?
Back in time in a bad way.
I don't think it was working out too well, to be quite honest.
Mm-hmm. And of course, we also have the Democrats trying to figure out exactly, like, how do we get out of this?
They just got to play possum. Just play
like
possum.
James Carville said, just play possum?
Just play possum. Just lay there. Smile. It'll be all right.
Well, we'll figure it out eventually. Maybe. This part of the program brought to you by Alabama Home Mortgage. And they're at Alabama Home Mortgage. Kim Williams and Madeline Cannon are ready to help you with buying a home. Or if you're looking to refinance that home. And as we mentioned yesterday with, it's great always having Troy Carrico on the show. They specialize in helping veterans out there at Alabama Home Mortgage. And that is the best deal you're going to get. If you're a veteran and you're not taking advantage of these benefits you earn through your service, you're leaving money on the table. And that could be whether you're purchasing or you're refinancing. It is going to be the best deal. And you might think, well, it's going to take forever. It's the VA. It's like, nope. Turnaround time on a VA refinance is about 16 days.
Yep.
Pretty incredible what they're able to do there at Alabama Home Mortgage. But whether you're a veteran or anybody else, they can help you with purchasing a home. Starts with pre-approval. It's a simple conversation there with Kim and Madeline. And then you can hit the ground running. They'll walk with you every step of the way, all the way to closing day. Or if you're refinancing, trying to get credit card debt off your back, this is a great way to do it, to refinance that mortgage and that equity you built up in your home. So call them today at 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or you can always apply online at myalabamahomemortgage.com. There is a difference in mortgage companies like Kim and Madeline. Prove that to you today. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, But whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
For over 40 years, Headley Plumbing has been fixing the River Region's plumbing problems with fast, affordable service. The pros at Headley are ready to respond anytime you need help, and they charge fair rates for their expert service. They help River Region homes and businesses every day, from repairing leaky faucets, septic tank service, replacing damaged sewer lines, or just unstopping a blocked drain. Trust the experts at Headley Plumbing. Call 285-3667. Headley Plumbing, 285-3667. Remember Headley's motto, in our business, a flush beats a full house.
Headley Metal Buildings has been your source for quality metal buildings in the River Region since 2007. Carports up to 24 feet wide, RV covers, storage buildings, even a sturdy metal barn up to 54 feet wide. Your structure can be customized, installed on level ground, and comes with a 20-year warranty. Let Headley Metal Buildings help you find the perfect solution. Financing available. Call 285-3667 for details, or find Headley Metal Buildings on Facebook.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray.
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
Rich Thomas weather, a service of Wiley Sanders Truck Lines, where over-the-road dump truck drivers are needed right now. Home twice a week and every weekend, must leave early on Sunday with Blue Cross Blue Shield. Call them now at 855-777-9785.
Rich Thomas weather.
We are below normal now, but some much colder air is on the way. Today's high in the upper 50s. Partial sunshine, but clouds on the increase. Then showers becoming likely after midnight tonight and first part of the day on Wednesday. Tonight's low 42 will be up to about 54 on Wednesday, becoming breezy. Then much colder Wednesday night, low in the mid-20s, wind chill factor teens. Thursday will be the coldest day, high temperature only 42, down near 20 by dawn on Friday morning. Friday's high temperature will stay in the 40s, and another very chilly day on Saturday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? Look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. We've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest news, Alabama values. This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Since 1966, Alabama Sheriff's Youth Ranches has been more than just a place to stay. It's been a place to belong. For children facing hardships through no fault of their own, our ranches provide more than shelter. We offer a warm home, a loving family, and a future filled with hope. With open arms, we welcome these young hearts, giving them the love, structure, and guidance they need to heal, grow, and thrive in a warm Christian environment. Together, we can give Alabama's children the chance they deserve, a chance to dream, to succeed, and to feel truly cherished. Every donation stays within Alabama, directly impacting the lives of the children who need it most. Join us in making a difference. Visit alabamasheriffsyouthranches.org. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram, and download our app from your app store. We'd be honored to have you as a part of our mission to lift up Alabama's youth. And remember this, it's easier to build boys and girls than to repair men and women.
The River Region's News Talk Station. News Talk 93.1, WACV. News Talk 93.1.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Now, it's always fun to read all the news that's fit to print when it's sort of Democrats sitting there like wringing their hands, like what are we actually gonna do here?
Yeah.
So I just want to read this straight up, Eddie, and we'll sort of react to it along the way.
All right.
Several dozen, actually, let me read the headline first. Democrats fear they are missing the moment to remake the party. As President Trump steamrolls over their priorities, Democrats say they could miss the opportunity to learn lessons from their defeat and undertake needed reforms. Several dozen Democratic political operatives had just gathered to discuss the party's future at an upscale resort nestled along the Potomac River when the very first speaker unleashed a blistering address about the quote-unquote hard truths they needed to confront. Now is not the time for taking refuge in comforting platitudes, said Jonathan Cohen, the president of the centrist group Third Way, which had organized the private event last week. Now is not the time to bet on the guys messing up so badly that we win simply by not being them. The remark, with a much coarser messaging term than messing up, he probably said effing up,
that's what
most likely, reflected a deepening distress shared by a wide range of Democratic strategists, lawmakers, and donors, that the party is at risk of missing a critical window for introspection and reform in the aftermath of the devastating 2024 election. The fear is that Democrats are squandering one of the few silver linings of losing, the chance to learn lessons from defeat. You have a come-to-Jesus moment as a team, and that's very useful, said Maurice Mitchell, the National Director of Working Families Party, unless, of course, that moment doesn't come about. The fretting spans the party's ideological spectrum, from the Third Way moderates who met at Lansdowne Resort in Leesburg, Virginia, to former supporters of Senator Bernie Sanders' left-wing presidential bids. All are eager to rearrange the party more to their ideological liking, though their views of how to fix what went wrong are often diametrically opposed. There is almost universal agreement on a diagnosis of the party's problem with the working class. The question is if there will be any consensus on a treatment plan. Some favor shedding unpopular policies or reprioritizing new ones. Others focus on improving the messages deployed to sell those policies to voters, or on how to deliver the party's message, whatever it turns out to be, in a fractured media environment. Already, a blizzard of organizations are holding focus groups, conducting polls, and studying voting patterns to assess the severity of the situation, especially the party's worrisome decline with groups where it once held sizable advantages like younger voters and Latinos. The pressure for Democrats to push back on President Trump's expansive agenda further complicates any prospect of a unified, rigorous autopsy like the ones Republicans conducted in 2012. Okay. I gotta stop there. The Republicans in 2012, after Romney lost, didn't learn squat. Not the head of the party. Not the leaders of the GOP. What happened after Romney lost 2012 and the Obama administration gets that second term and like Russia takes Crimea and all this? Like there's other stuff that happens too. It was Donald Trump that happened. There is nobody after Michael Steele being the head of the party, the RNC, as Romney's losing, is like, well, maybe we should adopt Donald Trump. They did everything in their power to stop Trump.
Oh, yeah.
They put up Jeb Bush. They put up Marco Rubio. They put up even Teddy Boy Cruz.
Sure did.
They put up Lindsey Graham. I'm here because I know I'm not going to win. But I love war and I love women. Vote for me, Lindsey Graham. 2016. Didn't work out too well for Lindsey. Nobody believed him.
Thank God.
Except on the war thing.
Oh, got to go with a record there.
So I love this. Like, they're still stuck in this mentality. You know, what's going to, my advice is you sort of let it happen.
Mm-hmm.
What it's going to take is some charismatic on their side who organically has a media following, who then the machine gets behind.
So not like that Hogg fella that they...
No, not David Hogg. Ugh. That makes my skin crawl. And it's not just me.
No, I don't think it's just you, brother.
Wow. Representative Ro Khanna of California, who was a co-chair of the 2020 Sanders campaign, framed the party's choice in terms of its ambitions: settle for simply being the opposition and hope that it's enough to win the House narrowly in 2026, or boldly reinvent the party altogether. If you're just a tactician, then you say, okay, let them overreach. This is Khanna speaking. If the Democrats aspire to more than just getting back control, if we actually aspire to building a governing majority and trying to solve the fundamental divides in this country and the fundamental anger, then we need to recognize we have a lot of work to do. Whatever tensions there are between aggressively battling back against Mr. Trump now and a broader rebranding, the reality is that how the current fight unfolds is most likely the first chapter in the new party's story. For disillusioned Democrats, too much of the post-election focus has been on tactics, and too much time has been spent second-guessing past decisions. Should former President Joseph R. Biden Jr. have dropped out sooner? Should former Vice President Kamala Harris have gone on Joe Rogan's podcast? When what is needed is a deeper discussion of whether the party's policies and priorities are repelling voters. A recent Quinnipiac poll showed favorable views of the Democratic Party at their lowest level ever, and favorable views of the Republican Party at their highest.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone has their pet theory for why the Democratic Party is in a crisis, said Waleed Shahid, a progressive strategist who urged leaders to sit with rank-and-file workers to better understand their anger and aspirations. But at some point, Democratic leaders need to break the decorum and be honest with themselves. Something is deeply wrong, and pretending otherwise won't stop voters from noticing. Again, all this energy to break out from old norms, it's all, everybody who really wanted to do that went with Trump. A lot of liberals. A lot of folks who disagree on all sorts of stuff conservatives would find disgusting. There's a lot of broad, though, agreement of it's time to break norms. It's time to reinvent America. And so while they're sitting there having these conversations, how do we reinvent ourselves? The folks that already were asking that question years ago, who weren't just conservative, are now playing that game. It's why J.D. Vance pissed off the Europeans so much, who are now, by the way, there's quotes coming out where they're like, we now see America as an adversary and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, guys. Wow.
Okay.
Well, okay, but it's sad to watch what's happening to Europe. It's sad to watch, indeed, because like every few months, it's like the opening scene of Team America World Police. You know, the little French boy, he's like going along.
Yeah. Macron. Don't even get me started on him. Found out some stuff about him while I was sick.
The new chairman of the DNC, Ken Martin, has emerged as a surprising flashpoint after he said days before the February 1st election that anyone saying we need to start over with a new message is wrong. The line is ricocheted through the party, leaving many Democrats shaking their heads in dismay and concluding that Mr. Martin will defend the status quo. At the Third Way event, Mr. Cohen said he had torn up the opening of his speech specifically to address that line from Mr. Martin. He made an impassioned plea for a clean break from the current state of affairs. The D next to a candidate's name too often stands for disqualified, demoralized, distrusted, and disconnected. The D ain't doing so good. You ever have those days where the D ain't doing so good?
Oh, yeah, Joey.
I have those days, too.
It happens.
In an interview, Mr. Martin said his view was being badly misinterpreted. Clearly, we have a brand and a perception problem, he said, adding that he had ordered up his own post-election review. Mr. Martin contended the problem was not the Democratic agenda, but how Democrats sell their popular positions. While we don't need a wholesale abandonment of the issues, we do need to focus on the things that people desperately care about, and we haven't, because we've allowed ourselves to message to smaller and smaller parts of our coalition. Anyone who would suggest I am not a change agent hasn't been listening. And it sounds like they're just having a lot of trouble, man. They're just having a lot of trouble.
Yeah, but they still ain't found the bottom.
You don't think so?
Nope. When you find bottom, usually you get a little bit of clarity there and realize. And I mean, if they're still rocking the same tunes they were rocking 6 months ago, they ain't found the bottom yet because there's no clarity in that.
We'll see. And of course, you know, the guys we love could screw up.
Oh, they will. Guaranteed. They're
Right.
human. That happens.
Very possible. But that brings me to this amazing thing, because it's not just what the official Democratic Party is going to do. What does matter, and I think what propelled Trump even higher than even Trump expected, is what is the discourse within your tribe online? And of course, there's always going to be like ugly things on whatever side, stupid, ignorant things on whatever side, because there's a lot of In fact, the majority, I suspect, are fairly stupid and ignorant. But they mean well half the time. Some don't. Right. Yeah, you're even questioning that. Right. But I would say like a Princeton professor shouldn't be considered fringe. It's like a Princeton professor.
Right.
Her name is Ruha Benjamin.
Ruha.
She's sitting down on a podcast with Trevor Noah, who hosted The Daily Show for a long time.
He's an American citizen, by the way.
Oh, is he now?
Yeah, just recently.
Well, this is the conversation that's in the ether in liberal world, if you could even call it that anymore. Like, y'all have really taken this whole, like, man can recreate himself. There is no built-in human nature. We can solve every problem with just the right amount of government.
No.
You've taken it to a pretty extreme, but it's almost like human nature bites back. And that's what I was thinking when I listened to this clip. I play it with trepidation here in Montgomery, Alabama.
I found myself wondering, and this applies to America, and then maybe it'll go to other places in a different way because Finland ties in. Do you think that integration was the right move? Like, and now I'm separating two things because I know in America people are like...
The Princeton professor, for those who aren't watching, is smiling and nodding her head as he's asking this.
Of course, I mean, there was racism and there's segregation, and I go, yeah, no, I'm separating them. Let's separate someone being oppressed and someone not being able to get a job and someone not being able to get a bank loan. Let's take all of those, the negative things away, because I'll put myself out personally and say, I think whether we're talking about gifted kids who are anomalous, let's say, to the norm, whether we're talking about, and I mean anything that does not fit into a category, I think part of the reason Finland is able to do it is because, have you been to Finland?
It's very homogeneous.
I've been to Finland. You know who's in Finland? Finnish people. That's it. That's it. And because they're all Finnish, there's an idea of like, no, we all head in the same direction. We all know what our actions mean. And that's a really powerful thing I've learned in communicating with other people. When I'm in a room with anyone where we start to tie together multiple things. So if I'm in a room with Black people, already there's like an implicit trust because we know what certain actions, words, and vibes mean. And then you're in a room with another African. Already. Now, even if you shout at me, I know what your shout means. The same way in Italian, what an Italian shout means.
Yeah.
Right? I know I'm prefacing it with a lot because it's a loaded question.
Yes.
But I would love to know if you think integration was the right solution, maybe on the other side of work rights.
Yeah. No, I don't. And I
This is the Princeton professor talking.
don't think it's actually that controversial when if you understand that segregation and integration weren't the only options. Like those are within those two options, it may seem like integration is the more progressive. Like, of course, we don't want segregation. But again, when you're being integrated into institutions, into a culture that's a supremacist culture, that's a culture that feeds off of hierarchy, that feeds off of insecurity, anxiety, why are we being integrated into that?
How much money are we bringing in because of the civil rights tourism now? A lot?
A lot.
It's probably the biggest moneymaker for the city.
Yeah, and to be honest, I've said it since the 80s. Why did it take so long for that to happen? I thought it was ridiculous. But those folks there.
The Princeton professor in particular, it's like, stop equating the lives of anybody in this country with your socialist program to tear down every distinction and difference. If you really press me, what I believe at the end of the day is an egalitarianism that respects distance and difference, that we are indeed equal in the eyes of God. And when you appeal to that dignity, that human soul, that spirit, you can break down barriers and change things and evil systems in a fundamental way that's beautiful. But if you think you can keep pressing, and then just tearing down all the hierarchies while redistributing all the resources and wealth is the path to prosperity or peace, you're a fool. And the very folks you're claiming to help You will be the first to throw under the bus. It's happened time and time again under socialist schemes. It was never good in the first place, folks. That's astounding. America has a lot of problems, and I'm all for one of reading unique histories from different perspectives. But if that's, again, what's in the ether, not from some just rando, from a professor at Princeton, well, maybe Princeton's become fringe. Maybe the Ivy League's become fringe. Maybe your ideology has reached a blind alley that is pulling us back to ideas that are old ideas. You know, and I could go on a whole rant here, but early on in Christianity, you know of the thing called the Gnostic movement?
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of different things, a lot of baggage with that term. But the Gnostics, one thing in particular believed is the body was evil.
Right.
And so it really just matters the soul. In fact, part of the game is to escape this evil material world and body and whatnot. And when you look at things like the excesses of transgenderism, the excesses, the actual ideology that was formulated in the academy, I'm not talking about people who have gender dysphoria or like to, dress up and pretend every once in a while. I'm talking about the ideology itself. It's just a new form of Gnosticism. And what's fascinating is when you see folks really have debates, just average people start having debates, and there's all sorts of great forums online now, like Jubilee is a site where they'll put like one conservative in a room of 20 liberals, and they all debate and go different IQ levels and professions and whatnot. Some people are having it out emotionally. Some people are having really interesting arguments. You start to get to the bottom of this stuff, though. It's like deep philosophical principles are the difference. And it's why people have trouble communicating. And some of these principles, they are leading people down blind alleys they don't even know.
Right.
It's really something. I'll put it that way. Like the worship of nature or the worship of ancestors. I'm not even talking about respect for history and understanding where you came from. I mean like worship of ancestors, worship of nature itself. It's all come back. And a lot of it's happening on that side because when you pull down all standards and you say no story can absolutely be the truth, especially not something like the Bible, that can't be the truth. You start pulling down stuff like that, and it happened long, long ago that those sort of things started occurring. It has consequences, and sometimes you're like, what does it matter what these professors in ivory towers have to say? It doesn't affect my practical life. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, maybe not next year or in the next 10 years. But for those of you old enough to where you grew up, say, in the 70s, those philosophical principles being argued in those university halls, they're playing out right now, 70 years later. And the beautiful thing is Americans rejected this crap.
Yep.
It really is a revolution of common sense. We don't know everything, but what we do know is the world's a mess. And practically speaking, we're way too much in debt. We're overextended in terms of our military alliances and our military obligations. And you can go down the line of how's our health doing? How's our education outcomes doing? Yada, yada, yada. But when you get down to it, I think Americans are lost on a deeper level. Not all of them, but a lot of them. Until the left starts addressing what do we actually believe deep down, I don't think there's going to be a big change. Maybe they get lucky. Maybe Trump and Vance and teams screw up right before the midterms. The economy doesn't turn around in time, and tactically they can just get back a majority in the House or something. Senate map, by the way, doesn't look good for them coming up. But in terms of the long run, there is something about that. It's not decline. It's almost like self-flagellation. Like they want to continue to tear down the West, the West, the West. The West is bad. The West can be blamed for all sorts of evils. And if we just, redistribute enough wealth and tear down enough hierarchies, then all of a sudden everybody will be happy. No, that's actually how you end up with a Napoleon. That's how you end up with a dictator. Truly. That said, I gotta hit this break. But first, this part of the program brought to you by Pest Pro Services. And they're at Pest Pro. Man, they're great. They really are great, and they're ready to help you out before, well, the season is upon you. What season?
We got termite season right around the corner, Joey. Got a lot of moisture in the air, and now, granted, it's going to get cold the next couple of days, but we all know that the sunshine and the warmth is in our future.
Right. And you want to treat your property before there's ever even a hint of a problem.
Yep. Now, they can do it either way. They can come in and treat it beforehand, which is the best way.
Yes.
But if you do have termite issues, they can come in, treat, and suggest repairs for those too. And I'm telling you, they're one of the best companies that I've ever dealt with on that, because they don't come in just with a bill and say, this is what you got to do. They explain every step of that process to you, make you feel much more comfortable about what you're fixing to do and how you're going to get your home protected. One of the best in the business, no doubt.
And of course, don't forget mosquito season's right around.
Oh, it's coming up, man.
What is it starting out like?
Well, in Alabama, I would say March, to be honest.
No, I mean, how much does it cost? Like to
as
get
low
your
as $50 a month.
Wow, it starts at $50 a month?
Yep.
That's pretty amazing.
That is. And I'm telling you, this is just literally 4, 5, 6 weeks away when we get our first bite.
No, Karika was saying, hey, no, I've seen them the other day. Like in the cold snaps come back, but like, you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah, it's Alabama.
So y'all check out Pest Pro Services today. Get on top of this stuff before the season is upon you, whether it's termites or mosquitoes or any other pest problem you might be worried about. That number, 265-9990. That's 265-9990. Or you can always go online, ppsriverregion.com, or just search Pest Pro Services on the Book of Faces. When you want to know, call a pro. Pest Pro Services. And be sure to tell Ashley and that great team that Joey and Eddie, those guys on the radio, sent you.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man. Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money? Well, like most smart folks, we call David Ernest. You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist? That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. I see. Yes, he is our preferred money man. The money man with the money plan. You've been paying attention. Well, could you give us those numbers one more time? 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man. Oh, what's that? I'm not an elk. Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you? Knights of Columbus. I am not even going to make a comment. Well, the baby liked it.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. The Trump administration is giving America's schools and universities 2 weeks to eliminate diversity initiatives or risk losing federal money, raising the stakes in the president's fight against wokeness. Arctic air gripping the plains has broken cold weather records in North Dakota. The capital city of Bismarck dropping to minus 39 degrees on Tuesday. That breaks the record of minus 37 set in 1910 for the same date. Officials say schools are closed and residents have been ordered to shelter in place. Staff a large fire broke out at an aerospace manufacturer's facility in a town north of Philadelphia at SPS Technologies in Jenkintown. No injuries reported. The Dow dropping 190 points and the Nasdaq down 76. This is SRN News.
For many out on the streets with no address, when the hope dies, it's hard to be found.
You get these people off our streets now.
It's not that much. They're human beings. Where are they meant to go?
Homelessness could happen to anyone.
I don't know how much longer I can do this.
Their story is our story.
You never know in life why things work out the way they do. Never give up.
No Address, starring William Baldwin, Ashanti, and Ty Pennington. In theaters February 28th. Get your tickets at noaddressmovie.com.
I'm going to let you in on a little wireless hack that can cut your cell phone bill in half. Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile have convinced you need unlimited data. Fact is, most people don't. Pure Talk only charges $25 a month for unlimited talk, text, and 5 gigs of data plus hotspot. Stop overpaying for wireless. Dial pound 250 and say spend less, and you'll save an additional 50% off your first month. With Pure
Rich Thomas Weather is brought to you by the Harriet II.
The Harriet II Riverboat has the perfect way to start your weekend each Friday with the Spring Dinner Cruise. Enjoy live entertainment, dine on a delicious family-friendly dinner with your favorite beverage from the Cash Bar. Boarding starts at 6:30 and the cruise at 7. Book your cruise today at funandmontgomery.com.
Rich Thomas weather.
We are below normal now, but some much colder air is on the way. Today's high in the upper 50s. Partial sunshine, but clouds on the increase. Then showers becoming likely after midnight tonight and first part of the day on Wednesday. Tonight's low 42 will be up to about 54 on Wednesday, becoming breezy. Then much colder Wednesday night, low in the mid-20s, wind chill factor teens. Thursday will be the coldest day, high temperature only 42, down near 20 by dawn on Friday morning. Friday's high temperature will stay in the 40s, and another very chilly day on Saturday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
You can make your ASC loan payments from your phone anytime, anywhere. It's quick and easy. www.yourasccu.com. Federally insured by NCUA.
1819 News.
U.S. Senator Tommy Tuberville and Congressman Dale Strong are offering companion bills within the Senate and U.S. House. The Protecting America's Agricultural Land from Foreign Harm Act will list specific foreign entities or governments who cannot buy U.S. agricultural land. The countries listed are Iran, China, North Korea, and Russia. Tuberville says for too long the U.S. has sat by while foreign nations have been taking over our nation's agricultural industry, and this is only jeopardizing our national security. Strong points out that China alone owns 340,000 acres of land here in the U.S. He says the bill is crucial in ensuring our adversaries do not interfere with our food and fiber market. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Some of the greatest blessings is just having people that care about you, to have someone that's just going to love you and make you feel important. They encourage you to be in church. They encourage you to be in prayer. They encourage you to be in your Bible. Now it's a part of my day every day. My house parents planted seeds in me that you can see where those seeds have sprouted in my life and helped change my life.
Big Oak Ranch, a Christian home for children needing a chance.
New technology in Baldwin County is helping solve drug overdose deaths faster than ever before. The Randox Multistat is a drug screening machine that offers rapid results and allows for investigators to move forward even faster when it comes to solving cases. At the start of this year, the Randox machine was used after an overdose victim was found inside a home on January 3rd. The new technology confirmed that fentanyl led to the person's death, and investigators tracked down who sold that fentanyl to the victim. 33-year-old Samantha Sheehan of Foley has since been arrested and charged with manslaughter. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
No one wants to wait on service for an overhead door. With 20 years in the industry, you now have access to the best with All Access Overhead Door. All Access Overhead Doors offers prompt professional service at affordable prices on all service and new garage doors for residential and commercial locations. All Access Overhead Door serves the river region and can take care of whatever you need when it comes to your overhead door. Remember, you have access to the best. All Access Overhead Door. Call and schedule an appointment today. 320-2440. And like them on Facebook. They sell the best and service the rest.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Hey guys, this is Todd Clark with River Region Contracting, your premier roofing contractor in Central Alabama. So remember the name, River Region Contracting, for all your roofing needs. We're not affiliated with any other roofing company in the River Region. We've been in the roofing business since 2005. We don't have to buy our leads, and we don't have to knock on doors when the storms come around. We have thousands of satisfied customers throughout Central Alabama. So call us at 334-356-8635. That's 334-356-8635.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. What are you smiling about over there?
Just memes. Lots of memes.
Oh, there are a lot of good memes out there today.
Yes. Yes.
272-9228. By the way, if you and I were in Germany, we would definitely be thrown in prison for the stuff we say. And
Dude, I saw that while I was sick.
Mm-hmm.
You can't even say it if I say it in your face. Joey, you're ugly. You just could look at me and go straight to jail. Straight to jail.
Straight to jail.
And that's what happens.
Mm-hmm.
But what if you're really ugly?
Yeah.
Just stating fact.
Right. What if the very law that you're using is offensive to me?
Good point, Joey. Have they really become this soft?
Yes. The guy was crying on stage. The international global order is over. Ooh. J.D. Vance said such mean things.
Exactly. What happened?
It's unreal. And now they're acting all tough and like, well, we'll stand up for ourselves now. And it's like, okay.
That reminds me of the Canadians here lately saying they want smoke with America. First off, no one here even cares that you're upset. We don't care. We're not going to be your 51st day. We don't care. It's all a joke. You are the punching bag. You are the joke.
But, if Quebec keeps threatening to secede, maybe Alberta will become the 51st state.
They're so stupid. They threaten to cut off their oil. Okay. Well, the problem is with that, Joey, yeah, they could cut off their oil, but they have to send their oil here for it to get refined to gas. So guess who would suffer first, Joey?
Right, because they have not built any east-west
No,
pipelines.
because they're morons, Joey.
Because of the people that worship Mother Nature, yes.
Yes.
Right. It's a fascinating time.
I know you probably might have talked about it, but the hockey game, did you bother watching that? That was a great game.
I just saw the fights.
No, it was a good part of the game, but it was a great game.
I didn't watch the game, no.
Really good game. Probably another one coming up Thursday night.
Now, I just keep going to this theme of like people trying to figure out what are the Democrats going to do.
Yeah.
Here's the CEO of Palantir. You remember that? What's that? They're a big technology company. J.D. Vance worked there for a while.
Okay. I was thinking something else.
But what is the reference there? What is a Palantir?
I don't know. All I can think is the Peloton.
Remember Lord of the Rings? Like the little seeing stones?
Yeah, kind of.
Or Saruman is talking to Sauron and like
and
Pippin like holds it. And
had a lot of bathroom breaks in that movie.
You didn't like Lord of the Rings?
It was okay. It's just a bit long.
Is it because the movie's not good or you're just stupid?
No, it has attention span a lot, but there was
no. You're not the only one. I got a very smart uncle in my family who hated it.
It wasn't awful. It was just like really
plotting.
Yeah,
yeah.
It was okay, but it just wasn't my fave.
Okay, fine.
It was no Smokey and the Bandit. I can tell you that.
Fine.
1, 2, or 3.
But here is nerds again. Nerds taking over the world. Guys named their company after a stone they can see forever.
That's kind of cool, though. I mean, since they're the only one that gets it, but that's cool.
It's cool.
That's cool.
It's an elven technology. Even Jay's yawning in the production room.
Because he can only get so excited.
So here is the CEO of Palantir, Alex Karp. That's an unfortunate name. Karp with a K.
Ooh.
But he's going to deliver pretty pain.
Look, what I don't like about what's going on is I just view this as, well, let's watch the Democratic Party commit suicide. And like, I've been a Democrat most of my life. I kind of view myself as outside it, but I don't like watching the Democrats just commit suicide. And what I see is most of the country doesn't really, at this point, given the fraud, waste, and abuse we know is there, 90% of the country is like, get rid of that fraud, waste, and abuse. And I just view this as yet another example of the progressive left boxing themselves into a suicide dance. Now, what the progressive left should be doing is saying, okay, Elon, you're clearly the most qualified person in the world to do something like this. We want to dialogue with you about how you're doing and what you're doing. I don't believe that's actually what happened. And again, I like Elon. I know I think he's obviously the most important builder in the world. And I just think, if you want to say my former side, I don't believe that they're actually engaging. I think it's like another dance where I'm supposed to say.
By the way, this is what a nerd sounds like when they get upset. I
It's like
can't.
he's been pulling his hair out.
Yeah.
Of course, like whatever. It's like there's this one issue where I might, and then you get boxed into you cannot solve the problem. And then I would say, what is the biggest problem in this society? Biggest problem in this society, from my perspective, is legitimacy of our institutions. Why aren't they legitimate? They're not legitimate because, okay, do any of you really believe that 99% of your taxpayer dollars are being spent? But last and not least, and probably arguably most importantly, there's two revolutions happening. One is transparency and one is AI. Okay, so why is it that we do not know where every penny of our money goes? Like, how do you explain that to people? And by the way, slightly more technically, what large language models do is they mean you can go into the contracts and see exactly what happened. Yep. So in the past, we couldn't do this. Now we can. The right response is, we want this to happen. We want to happen. We want to be involved in the dialogue. The real response is, it feels like the people criticizing Elon don't want it to happen. And this is going to destroy those people. Look.
And you got and again, this is a guy who just said, my whole life I was a Democrat. Like a lot of these people in the tech world are, or used to be. It's kind of amazing. We'll see if things can actually be cleaned up. But the amount of, like, people that are doing jobs that aren't needed, and the amount of regulations that just shouldn't exist, a lot of expenditures that shouldn't exist.
Yep.
It's getting astounding. But Peter St. Onge here has a report. Yeah, Peter.
How's Peter?
Well, the headline of this is 300,000 federal workers cold.
Ooh.
Should we listen in?
We shall.
Again, this is Peter St. Onge.
Winter has come for federal workers as they cry into their TikToks. The Wall Street Journal reports that over 75,000 federal workers have accepted Trump's severance packages, which were paused by a left-wing judge but are now back on. Now, 75,000 is just over 3% of federal workers, and it would save about $80 billion a year in salaries alone. Still, the administration had been hoping for more, given on average 62,000 federal workers retire every year anyway. Plus, 8 months was a very generous buyout offer. So why so few? Two reasons: an all-out effort by government unions to scare workers out of buyouts, claiming they're illegal or won't be honored. But the biggest reason is federal workers are grotesquely overpaid, and they have zero hope of making anywhere near that money in the real economy.
Oh.
So on average, federal salaries are roughly $40,000 more than the rest of us make, plus benefits that might double that.
Wow.
And you actually have to work in the real world. So if these guys are making $150,000 to not work from home, they've got six-figure lifestyles, seven-figure mortgages, and no private salary will cover that. Meaning they will cling on, praying union lawfare lets them squeeze another couple $100,000 from taxpayers, while complaining on TikTok about brutal Doge interviews where they're asked, like, what they actually do. Still, voluntary buyouts was just the first salvo to catch the low-hanging fruit. Now begins the fun part, going from carrot to stick, the mass firings that will be a whole lot less generous than 8 months severance. The administration's already sent out over 200,000 pink slips to recent probationary hires, and they're telegraphing that any federal parasite who stays will have to step up and actually do competent work or they will be out. They'll have to come to the office 5 days a week, which is apparently traumatic going by federal workers crying on TikTok, and they'll be subject to performance reviews, which government workers probably did not know were real. This all relies on Supreme Court decisions going back to 1926, allowing termination of federal workers for, quote, inefficiency, neglect of duty, or malfeasance. So inefficiency alone probably covers 90% of them. In fact, thousands of federal workers are already being axed. Beyond the 200,000 probationaries, left-wing slush fund USAID immediately placed 10,000 employees on leave, while up to 5,000 FBI agents could be purged for politically weaponizing the agency. More than 1,000 EPA employees were informed they are now probationary under review, including over 100 EPA, quote, environmental justice workers, who you probably didn't know you were paying. Even the CIA got an unprecedented buyout offer, a shot across the bow, warning that they too are on the list. So what's next? Brought to you by Unchained.com. Decimating the federal parasitocracy is fantastic for the economy and for the American people. I mentioned in a recent video how a single regulator costs 158 jobs, according to Mercatus. More, it will go a long ways to reestablishing that the bureaucrats serve the people, we the people do not serve them. Now, the last time we had a real federal call was Andrew Jackson, who fired roughly half of the federal government in 1829 with no discernible impact on function. Elon may be thinking closer to the 80% he laid off at another sclerotic organization, Twitter, which also functioned better after the layoffs.
Oh, yeah.
Either way, there's about to be a lot more crying on TikTok from the dispossessed federal nobility who can no longer feather their beds with our hard-earned tax dollars. Okay, we'll be watching. See you next time.
Peter St. Onge, folks. Always appreciate his insights and his videos there.
Definitely.
And we now have a news story at 1819news.com. And we talked about this at length yesterday with Troy Carrico, Brian Battaglia, Sergeant Major Battaglia. And the headline reads there at 1819 News, Ivy persistent on ADVA remake despite pushback from veterans groups. So what does this story actually say? Well, it's written up by a guy I think we know named Craig Monger.
I love me some Craig.
Saying, despite receiving many amendments, the Alabama chapter of the Military Officers Association of America, MOAA, still opposes the legislation designed to restructure the Alabama Department of Veterans Affairs, as lawmakers are anticipated to vote on the bill this week. The legislation, with versions in both the House and Senate, would change the ADVA commissioner's role to one appointed by the governor. Currently, the State Board of Veterans Affairs hires and fires the position, well, unless somebody claims supreme executive authority or something like that. The SBVA would also be changed to an advisory role, quote unquote. On Tuesday, Governor Kay Ivey continued to push for this restructuring, calling it, quote, an important step forward in a post on X. And here, let's pull up the whole post here. We want to elevate veterans. By the way, this op-ed that she's, a lot of them, they're pushing out.
Yeah.
I think it's a thing in this business where people just do copy-paste. Like somebody else wrote it.
Oh,
who's good at political messaging, and then other people with great names and who probably have done great things put their name on it.
Ooh, that doesn't sound...
Because sometimes it just reads, it's like, that doesn't read like somebody's voice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and of course it's hard to spot. Sometimes that is somebody's voice. But I just suspect there's something like that going on here. She says, Governor Ivey says, we want to elevate veterans. We want to give them a stronger voice. And we want all of Alabama's veterans to be represented.
Then why not butt out?
What do you mean by all, Governor? That's what I'm wondering.
Well, I'm wondering, why don't she butt out and let the veterans handle it? Is she a veteran herself? Nope.
Craig Monger's reporting continues. The Senate version of the bill was amended 9 times during last week's deliberations. The amendments were meant to assuage the concerns of the state's veteran service organizations, VSOs, who initially came out in force at the State House in opposition. The main concern is the perceived shaving down of input from veterans and VSOs on the State Board of Veterans Affairs.
Yep.
In a release, MOAA said it's still planned to oppose the bill, despite the amendments. Under current law, the governor appoints State Board of Veterans Affairs members based on suggested appointees from the following organizations: the Alabama Department of the American Legion, the Veterans of Foreign Wars, the Disabled American Veterans, the Vietnam Veterans of America, AMVETS, and the Military Order of the Purple Heart, the American Ex-Prisoners of War, the Alabama Alliance of the Military Officers Association of America Incorporated, and the Marine Corps League. The amended version of the bill gives appointing authority to the governor, lieutenant governor, House Speaker, and Senate pro tem. However, the amendments also reduce the number of veterans organizations that have input into the board's makeup. Under the amended bill, Ivy would get 9 appointees of her choosing, one of whom must be a woman.
What?
Well, I meant everybody, Sugar. Wait, Governor, are you one that just signed all the get rid of DEI stuff?
I believe you're right there, Joey.
The remaining 3 are appointed based on recommendations from the 3 largest veterans organizations in the state, significantly reducing the input from the remaining groups. So we want to give more people voices by centralizing this board to be a bunch of political appointees. Because if the governor, the speaker, the lieutenant governor, and the Senate pro tem, do you think they're going to appoint people that are rock the boat?
Heck no, Joey. Why would they do that? Why would they do that?
Here is what MOAA actually had to say. They said the numerous amendments made by the Alabama Senate are mere window dressing with superficial attempts to codify diversity that ironically already exist organically on the existing board. As nominated by the accredited veteran service organizations, the State Board of Veterans Affairs accurately represents all Alabama veterans. The amendments do not address the central issue of preserving veteran oversight, and the SBVA is still replaced with an advisory committee that strips veterans of their current oversight and supervisory role and authority. Elevating the commissioner of the ADVA to a cabinet-level position may be positive, but the commissioner should not be a purely political appointee. The SBVA should still select and make nominations to the governor.
Exactly.
And by the way, I think that's the sort of compromise they came up with the public health department. Like, well, you can pick governor. It'll be a cabinet level, but you have to pick from what this group is saying. The people you should pick from. Wow.
Not a fan.
I mean, we'll see. And apparently there is a big rally on Tuesday at 11:30 in the morning.
Yeah, I shared some stuff. Troy sent me about that. So I'm glad. Veterans need to speak out. This is not in your best interest, by no means.
272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. Let's go to line 1. You're on there. Who's this?
Hey, guys. Loving the show.
Hey, Robert.
I also love Doge or what Elon's doing. And even the Veterans Administration can be audited because, well, anecdotally, there's a big-ass building they built not too far from me. And you see like 6 cars in the parking lot. But anyway, that's anecdotal. I'm just saying there was one point I wanted to make about Doc and the Democrats or the people in charge or senators. They're against those because they say they're getting into your information. Oh, well, I think people's been in everybody's information every time you apply for a loan, every time you get pulled over, every time, whatever. You got it. And then the Democrats keep pushing against Doge, and Doge can even help the Veterans Administration.
Certainly.
I want them to get the best care. Don't get me wrong. I'm a veteran myself, but I'm not I'm no glory. But what I mean is waste, fraud, and abuse has got to go because you can't run a country with a top-heavy burden bull crap. You see what I'm saying?
Right. No, you got to be able to actually understand what the organization is doing and be accountable. And that's, I think, the greatest thing Doge is doing. They are mapping out this Leviathan state and laying it bare for all to see. And I'm sure it's going to be certain things found, whether at the VA or with the Defense Department and the Pentagon in general. The Pentagon just welcomed in Doge today. We'll see how long that welcome lasts. I think we're going to find it at all sorts of places throughout the government.
Hey, Joey, love your show, buddy. Thank you.
Appreciate it, Robert.
See you, Robert.
272-9228. Also breaking, Secretary of State Wes Allen. You know that guy, right?
Oh, yes.
He is running for lieutenant governor in 2026.
Is that right?
Yeah. Okay, the announcements begin.
All right, here we go. Good-looking guy.
Yeah.
Sharp-looking character there.
All right. So he says, I am incredibly proud of the work we have accomplished in the Secretary of State's office, from cleaning up our voter rolls to creating and launching the most effective voter integrity database in the country, to ensuring that business owners across our state have their needs met efficiently and effectively. The lieutenant governor seat will be an open seat in the 2026 election, and I believe it is time for me to take my record of conservative, effective leadership to that office. All right, then. We'll see who else is going for that position. So you got to wonder who's running for governor. Then the next biggest one is lieutenant governor, all right? Then your Secretary of State. I don't know.
It depends on if you do business a lot. Secretary of State is a little bit more important.
Because Ainsworth always seems an obvious choice to run for governor.
To me,
his current position, and the way I love the stand he's taken against Governor Ivey about this whole veterans restructuring. Well, thank you, Will Ainsworth. I appreciate that.
100%.
But other than him, I don't know for certain who might jump in. I mean, there's all sorts of rumors about Tuberville.
What?
Who knows?
Who knows? Somebody's going to eat one way or the other, though.
I'll believe that when I see it.
Me too.
So if Tuberville's in, that changes everything.
Okay, let's say Tuberville is in.
Yeah.
Did it just automatically sway that way?
I think so.
Except for Tuscaloosa County.
I suspect Will Ainsworth ain't going down without a fight, but man, think of like what Coach has been able to do in terms of raising his profile with conservative
voters.
voters.
There, man.
Think of like Trump being able to come down and stump for him and help.
I know, but I don't want to lose him where he's at. When you get good people in good positions,
right,
it's good to keep them there.
Right.
Not always shuffling the board. Although I will say, in this state, we need.
No, the tell will be if
got.
he says, I'll only leave this Senate in a pine box, and then you'll know he's running for governor.
No doubt. No doubt.
I love Coach, but
that's just college football in general.
Such college football stuff right there. So we'll see. But yeah, that's the first, I think, big announcement of 26 election cycle coming up. Again, Secretary of State Wes Allen is officially running for lieutenant governor in 2026.
Good for him.
Indeed.
I'm sure he'll stop by and see us.
Hey, this part of the program brought to you by Montgomery Men's Health. Fellas, if you're feeling down and out, like you can't get by, like you're tired all the time, physically and mentally, like you just don't feel yourself. You're haunted by past memories of your younger self. Never in the mood. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Like you have no libido to speak of, no life force at all. Seeing unwanted weight gain, loss of muscle mass, and you're not eating more, you're not working out less. You're like, what the heck is happening to me? Well, it very well could be low testosterone. And this happens naturally to men as they get into the middle of life.
It does.
40s, 50s, 60s. Though some guys are still cooking even then.
Some
and good
are.
for you guys.
But some, even in their 30s, Joey.
Or 20s.
Yeah.
Even. Like it's sort of the thing that's been happening all over the developed world. And so if you're feeling this confluence of symptoms, get by Montgomery Men's Health, and there the providers will conduct a testosterone-focused lab workup plus a consultation for only $99. What does that mean? It's a quick blood draw.
Mm-hmm.
Then they're going to ask you some basic quality of life questions, like how you feeling and going about your day. And if you do, in fact, have low testosterone, they have treatments there that can truly change men's lives. Men can experience higher energy, better gains in the gym, better mental clarity, improved sleep patterns, a faster metabolism, and you usually even notice an increased libido.
It's all right.
There's a lot right with it. So y'all call them up today. Make an appointment at the number 440-3663. That's 440-3663. Or you can go to montgomerymenshealth.com to make that appointment today. 272-9228. Again, if you want to get in on the conversation, we'll be right back.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Hi, this is Bo Goodson with the Goodson Group with your Real Estate Minute. My last message was the report for 2024 real estate market in the River region. According to industry experts, they predict for 2025, we will have more inventory to choose from for our buyers, more buyers for sellers to show their houses to. Here are 5 tips for buyers or sellers in 2025. Number 1, sellers need to price their home at fair market value with the help of your realtor. Number 2, Buyers need to be pre-qualified by a local lender prior to shopping for a house to save them time. Number 3, use a certified residential specialist or CRS to purchase or sell your home. Less than 2% of realtors nationwide have this designation. You need an expert now. 4, use someone with 48 years of real estate experience to help you with your largest investment. Number 5, quit waiting. Now's the time to buy or sell. Call Bo Goodson at 221-2883, the Goodson Group, or 551-0225.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
Hi there, I'm Kim Williams with Alabama Home Mortgage. For years, I've been asking you to call me at Alabama Home Mortgage because there is a difference in mortgage companies. When you call Alabama Home Mortgage, you will immediately see the difference in pricing. Not only do we offer the most competitive rates, but our closing costs rank among the lowest in the industry. How do we do it? Because we can. We do not have the overhead that big banks and lenders do. Those big banks and lenders have big expenses. And what do? They pass those expenses along to you. Meanwhile, here at Alabama Home Mortgage, we receive wholesale rates which result in big savings that we pass along to you. Don't pay more for less. Give Alabama Home Mortgage a call at 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or visit us online at myalabamahomemortgage.com to complete an application on your time. Our rates and pricing are just one difference that sets us apart from the rest. It's not just a slogan. Call Alabama Home Mortgage because, folks, there is a difference in mortgage companies. NMLS 1586368, Equal Housing Lender.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why, when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them, the right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number 1 in the number 2 business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network is brought to you by Earnest Financial.
If you're tired of losing your money in the stock market, call David Earnest, 334-279-7431. Earnest Financial, LLC.
Well, hi, everybody. We have an Arctic cold front on the way. I think we're dry tonight, but the chance of showers becoming likely after midnight tonight and first part of the day on Wednesday. Then the front moves through, high 54. Much colder Wednesday night. Overnight low temperature 25, but wind chill factors in the teens. I still think Thursday will be the coldest day with a high temperature only around 42, down near 20 by dawn on Friday morning. Friday's high temperature will not make it out of the 40s. And Saturday is a very chilly day as well. 29 days until spring begins. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Live local talk, the River Region's only 24-hour News Talk FM station. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. What was that sound?
That little bracelet thing pinched her hair. Yeah. I wanted to cry, but I didn't want to sound so soft.
Sounded like a German leader over there.
Oh, Joey gonna make me cry.
The international gambler order is over. The JD events hurt my feelings.
I just don't get that, man.
I don't know why I'm so stuck on that. I'm just like,
I just
it's just astounding.
I couldn't believe what I was watching. It was like, what happened? Did his pet get run over or something? No. He was just upset because J.D. Vance came and busted some truth on him.
Let's go to Bill. Hey, Bill, how you doing?
I'm great. I spent 30 years in the military. I'm a native Alabamian, came back several years ago after 30 years of serving and retired back to Alabama. And I just wanted to offer my 2 cents worth very quickly on
Yes,
this
sir.
Veterans Board situation, if I may.
Absolutely. Thank you.
First of all, I don't believe it's Governor Ivey's initial decision. I think this was probably thought up by a group of political minions and potential appointees that could possibly take over another board. I think that the entities that you mentioned that are currently representing that board are the very ones that need to be on that board. They are the people that know what the veterans in this state need. And I'm so afraid that this bill will pass in Montgomery because of the good old boy and the good old girl pat my back and I'll pat your situation down there. And that will be yet another board that has gone political. And it will not benefit the veterans of this state one iota. It will hurt every veteran in this state if this passes. And it just sickens me that we're still playing politics with veterans, and not to mention all the other organizations. But here we go taking over another board that should be funded, and not funded, but that should be served by veterans instead of Montgomery political appointees. And that's my 2 cents worth. And thank you very much.
Said it better than I could, Bill. Thank you, sir. Thank you for
Thank
your
you,
service, too. 272-9228. No, we do have a lot of veterans in this world.
Yeah, we do.
And it's, again, I come back to, this just comes across as, it's not about the issue, actually. It's about something else. And that's what drives me up a wall. It's like, it's people settling scores. It's people saying, no, you're messing with me, I'm going to mess back.
It seems to drive more than anything in politics is the one up you, and I'll get you. I'll get you back. Good be damned. Let's just go after each other.
No, but sometimes it works out, you know. Like, you can mock Trump at a White House Correspondents' Dinner, and then everything that's happened in the last few years can happen.
You ain't kidding.
272-9228. Again, that's 334-272-9228. By the way, speaking of the crying Europeans, who are now also, they've gone from crying to like, we're real tough. How dare you come here? I guess America's now an adversary. And every American I've seen on Twitter that's kind of America First or libertarian anti-war is like, oh, please, no, don't say that. Oh, no. Wait, y'all are going to be more independent of us? Oh, no, that is so terrible. Please don't do that.
Right up there with Canada having a fit. Oh, no, I'm not going to use maple syrup anymore. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
I mean, I don't care.
But
I literally don't care.
Honey, I love those little maple syrup candies that are shaped in the, little like a little maple leaf.
That's cool. Walmart.
We get them on Christmas.
Walmart's got a knockoff version of them made in China. We're good, honey. We're good.
What is it, real maple sugar?
Doesn't matter.
No.
So the freak out continues. And Victor Davis Hanson, he's got a take on this.
Right.
And I always respect that guy's opinion. Let's listen in to what he has to say. I believe this starts with a clip of Marco Rubio sparring with Margaret Brennan. You could go read my op-ed at 1819 News. It's now near the bottom of the page. And there's a lot of news on that website because of the session and so much going on.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But my op-ed's called, Sorry, Margaret, but free speech didn't lead to the gas chamber. Like, give me a break. But this, I believe, starts with that Marco Rubio interview. Let's listen in.
Only party that governed that country. So that's not an accurate reflection of history.
Yeah, correct.
Joining me now is Victor Davis Hanson, Hoover Institution Senior Fellow. Victor, why should Americans be concerned about what's going on with free speech in Europe?
Well, they're our partner in Western civilization, and they're our ally, and we have 70,000 troops there. But more importantly, we're losing Europe. And J.D. Vance's speech wasn't just directed at the ministers, nor even the MAGA crowd at home. It was really to the silent majority in Europe. And what he was saying was, this elite has failed. And anytime you fail, that's when you start to censor. They failed on the border, on the economy, on energy, on immigration, on defense. And so in their failure, they tried to stifle all forms of dissent and free expression. And he was trying to give encouragement to all the people of Europe who know that and want to rise up. And that's why they hate him so much. You know, Miss Brennan didn't understand that when the Nazis came to power and they started to outlaw free speech, one of the mechanisms they used was to say it was the German equivalent of disinformation or hate speech or misinformation. That's how it always happens. Usually censorship is the twin of failure. When you're failing, you cannot stand the light of, criticism.
I mean, he always puts it quite well.
Oh, I like that. Censorship is the twin of failure.
No, and seriously, like when you let problems fester, that's when they explode violently. Especially when you're talking about a nation.
Yeah.
Like you silence, and you don't have to silence that many. I mean, the Germans have done 800 something hate speech cases they prosecuted. So, like, you just have to do that to a few people, and the wise folks who just want to survive will be like, well, I'm keeping my head down. But they don't agree with it. They're just keeping their head down. And so, to his point, you get this critical mass of a silent majority, and it would be much better, again, to let off the steam. Let things be said, because if you let people fester in dark corners, that's when you get the worst. That's when you get folks who aren't interested in argument or free speech. They're interested in, well, doing whatever it takes.
We just kind of went through that here. That was the path we were on.
Yes, it was. And thank God Trump won for so many reasons.
That is the path we were on.
And, as much as you're like, well, look at all this hate. They tried that. Look at all the hate speech on X. I'm like, I'm glad I see it.
Yeah, they allow it. It's free speech.
I don't think they're right.
No, but it comes with responsibility, and it comes with accountability. Can't yell fire in the theater.
Well, if there's a fire, you can. But,
yeah, that's true.
And then more has to do with property rights.
Yeah, that's true, too.
Like you buy a ticket, there's a understanding, like an implicit understanding. You watch the movie, you don't disturb other people watching the movie.
Unless there's a fire, right?
Unless I thought you were about to say something else. Let's go to line one. You're on there. Who's this?
So, Joey, what was the word you used the other day? Taking pleasure in...
Schadenfreude.
Yes.
You going to get a double dose of that when the IRS gets Doge style, doggy style, style.
Yeah, boy, they're in for you.
Are we going to take great pleasure? I think we should break them. Every one of those agents that don't put them in jail. Just break them. Fine them. Keep them in line. Keep them on the phone for days on end and in line in the office for this. Just a Dante's Inferno. You got to come back to this IRS office, sit in the waiting room 12 hours every day to die. So, yeah, we're gonna take pleasure, much pleasure, in that one little outfit.
Absolutely.
And that's another thing. I think a lot of these people are so scared because they know they have screwed the American people for so long, and they're worried about the vengeance that's going to be put back upon them. And for the most part, I'm not looking for vengeance. I just don't want you doing that job anymore.
Right.
Go away.
Here's a pink slip.
Yeah, officially go away. Right. But they are so afraid that, oh God, I've done this to you for so long. I can only imagine what you're going to do back to me.
I want to see them sitting beside I-85 and the boulevard with a tin cup in their hand, begging forgiveness. I was an IRS agent. Please don't kill me. That's where they need to be. It's beyond. There's no compassion. No, let me help you. No, it's you're on hold, and we don't give a damn if you're on hold till you die.
Schadenfreude.
Yeah.
Indeed.
That's the one. Gonna take great pleasure. I hope they get it Doji style.
Oh, now the images coming to mind. I appreciate the call as always. Thank you. 272-9228. No, there are certain departments where it's just delicious.
Yes.
Like it really, I think is, it's about time.
And I saw a thing this morning, something about they found a line on a bill or a line on the Doge people found a line, $4.6 trillion paid out to this one line item so far where there's no receiver of the money. It's just an open pit for money to fall into.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the ones I'm glad they're finding.
And I really am getting tired of the woe is me, I have so much anxiety game, number one. It's like, especially the woman they trotted out on 60 Minutes was acting like, I was just a regular USAID employee.
Oh, yeah.
No, she was the speechwriter for
Thank you.
Samantha Power.
Thank you, Joey.
So she's a comms professional.
Yes.
They presented as like just some
innocent,
everyday worker, and I don't know what I'm going to do. And
Well,
it's like, give me a break. It's so fake. You can't even find a real person who's down and out. I'm sure you can, who does elicit some sympathy.
Yeah, but they're not going to find that person. They need somebody that fits their script.
Right.
And
who
will
knows how
read
to
their
deliver
script.
their
Yep.
script well.
Yep.
And it's stuff like that that's just, ooh. It's very frustrating. But of course, there's the I'm so anxious sort of thing. But then the one that just drives me nuts is like, I'm hiding behind like all these humanitarian concerns. Without my job, people are going to starve, Eddie. Without me making this generous amount of money, kids ain't going to get educated. And who's going to feed them?
Oh, those are questions that, unfortunately, a lot of Americans have to ask themselves throughout their lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
One door's closing, hopefully another one's opening.
No, but the problem is, and I've said this many times over the years, is when you look at a lot of these public programs, it's not about actually solving the problem. It's about managing it to death.
Yeah.
And what these programs end up being is full employment for upper middle class people.
Yep.
Living on that $150 a year. Might be a little less in Alabama. Cost of living's different. Who knows? And yeah, by the way, there's still going to be plenty of federal workers. Probably going to run just fine. Maybe even better than it was. I think the Pentagon, for instance, is going to end up being more lethal and more effective out of this.
I look for hiring. I look for this a year from now. This happens in business all the time. When we come in and we just cut. You cut everything to the bone. You get rid of all the dead weight you can. You realize, okay, these are situations where we need people. These are systems we need people. But you get the right people in there. You don't get somebody that's a bureaucrat that's been in that job 30 years, doing it my way. Yeah, you're out.
And seriously think here in Alabama, if you want to play the patronage game, which is just, I think the worst, like it's an old form. It's not going away. Like I elected you because I wanted stuff. Give me the stuff.
Where's my stuff?
Right. I was loyal to you. Give me my stuff or whatever. But I think at the end of the day, actually Alabama will net federal jobs out of this as the restructuring happens. In particular, Redstone is ready to house a lot of things. I don't know about Montgomery, but I mean.
Well, plus only so many people can retire from the government, and like $60,000 a month because the mine, they can only process so many retirees a year or a month. So
pretty antiquated. Now it kind of makes sense if you want to store sensitive things in a mountain,
like seeds.
Well, yeah, like so, like I think it's called Iron Mountain. Yeah. Like there's a point to having the mountain, and that I get having the mountain to protect things. I really do. It's more like, could you come up with a better paperwork process other than having to go inside the mountain?
We don't. We have elevator shaft, except when the elevator breaks and everybody has to take days off until the elevator.
Maybe could we take the processing out of the mountain and process things, then you put it in the mountain. But you don't have to sit there and wait to actually put it deep down in a mine shaft before you actually do something. It's crazy.
It is. But honestly, that's how in my mind's eye, that's how I pictured our government working. So when Elon Musk came out and said that, I was like, holy crap, they are really that dated. And if you remember, this was years ago, I think 60 Minutes did an expose on it. Our nuclear program is still operated on the floppy disk. Yes.
Well, that's the one, because the conversation does come up. We don't want to hit all load-bearing walls.
Right.
And in particular, something like your nuclear forces, like if that's the system, before we change.
Well, that's what worries me, Joey.
Let's make sure the AI is not conscious or something like that. Before we start giving over our whole new systems to secure the nukes, we better be sure, guys.
Y'all didn't run a backup disk? We got no backup?
By the way, we're getting a report from somebody who's there at the legislature saying this bill to restructure the State Board of Veterans Affairs is stalled out again. Good. Not able to get it through yet. And right now it's looking like it might stay that way. May not muster enough support. Apparently, Ainsworth and Senator Jones, Andrew Jones, who brought this, who again, I sound like a broken record. A lot of these guys I disagree with on issues are often like you want to hang out and talk to them. They're often interesting people, but apparently Ainsworth and Senator Jones had a conversation on the floor, and it looked pretty intense with Jones not looking too happy at all.
Interesting.
So we'll see. We'll see if this actually can be pushed through.
People have spoken.
Again, I really do appreciate Lieutenant Governor Ainsworth taking a stand on this. I think you've made the right choice, sir. Keep at it. Let's hit a break. Before we do, though, this part of the program brought to you by Josh and Leslie, right? Or they're at Dillon Rings.
Yeah, Dillon Rings.
Man, they do some great work. That custom design work, and it doesn't have to be like the fanciest thing in the world. It could be like best friend bracelets. It could be like funky fresh medallions.
Mine.
Yeah, mine's still in my nightstand.
I must have like the triple weld because
it just doesn't come off.
It just doesn't come off.
Wow. Like I hadn't worn mine in years.
It just doesn't come off. My wife laughs at me. She says, "This is the longest piece of jewelry I've ever had."
Well, maybe we could get like matching medallions, like funky fresh medallion. Like let's really like go all out where we wear it on special occasions.
I don't want alloy. I want something heavy.
Yeah, no, you want it heavy. Right. I get it. You want that heavy thing.
We'll feel that weight.
Josh, we're coming. We want that weight. We want it to feel like an albatross.
Right.
But not that much. Just a little bit.
Like
right on the cusp of pulling us down.
Right.
Of course, it could also be poignant things like if you go to their Facebook page, just type in Dillon Rings on Facebook. It's DYLAN Rings on Facebook. You can see how sometimes people inherited pieces of jewelry that they would never wear. It's kind of older design, or it's just, but they still want to keep it. It's still valuable. It can be repurposed into all sorts of things that you will wear every day. And of course, they're at Dillon Rings. They are a full service jewelry shop. So a lot of great jewelry items ready to go already in stock, or they can do spa treatments, appraisals, repairs. They do it all. So y'all stop by today, 119 Brown Springs Road, right here in Montgomery, just off of Atlanta Highway. That's 119 Brown Springs Road, kind of the back entrance into the AUM complex, or kind of where the old fun zone used to be.
That's right.
That's the way I remember it. And be sure to tell Josh and Leslie that Joey and Eddie, those guys who want the weight.
Gotta have that weight.
Be sure to say those fools on the radio sent you.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Is your business feeling the heat of cyber attacks? Tired of worrying about ransomware, data breaches, downtime, and employee mistakes? GTI Managed IT Solutions has been your trusted partner since 1999, safeguarding and supporting businesses like yours from the ever-evolving threats in the digital world. GTI, your peace of mind is guaranteed. Call us today at 819-4650 or visit gtinow.com.
Hey, this is Randy with Super Phone Center on Burbank Drive. When we advertise with Blue Water Broadcasting, we get results. Spend your money where it counts. Blue Water Broadcasting.
Blue Water Broadcasting is the #1 most listened to radio group in the River region. Find out how to put this reach to work for your business. Call us to find out how we can help. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folk helping local business.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is #1 in the #2 business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
On FM, on your smartphone, and online, the River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. Closing moments here, and we are awaiting a call from Ray Bowles of Prattville Carpet. I couldn't get in touch with him yesterday because he was busy, and you know I was flying kind of solo there. Though Troy Carrico, always great having Troy in the studio. And
did he bring a flag? Did he bring a flag?
He did.
Yeah.
It was the Knights Templar battle flag.
Ooh.
Which looks like the normal Templar cross with white, but that makes it a battle flag because the other half of the background is black.
Didn't know that.
And so it was a Templar battle flag.
Cool.
Pretty cool stuff,
I dig
actually.
That. I dig that.
Is this Ray on the
That is Ray.
Hey, Ray, how you doing today?
Sorry I missed you yesterday. I was home sleeping.
I told folks you were working.
No, blow that up.
Sleeping the best sleep. I had that, thing. What procedure did I have yesterday? Colonoscopy.
Oh, yeah, you might want to sleep after
so
that.
bad. It was absolutely, it wasn't bad. The only thing I would ever suggest to somebody is get a cushioned seat for the toilet. Because after about 4 hours, I said, mistakes have been made at this point, but I can't go anywhere to fix it. The rest of it was quite fine. I mean, honestly, you sit there, you're watching YouTube, you're watching your phone. I mean, things are going on.
Right, things are going on.
Yeah, and Nancy would come in and knock on the door. Is everything okay? I'm like, you want to come in and check? She's like, no, I don't.
No.
No, I don't. And then the next day I go in there that morning, right, and they give you this nice little injection of something.
Mm-hmm.
And then you wake up and they're like, well, you're fine. Everything's good. They pat you on the back.
Big boy.
I asked them, they said, we're going to get Angie. And I asked the nurse, I said, can you do me one favor? She said, what's that? I said, you got to do it. She said, what is it? I said, can you tell her I have the best looking butt you've seen today? She did it.
That's why nurses are great.
I mean, yeah. So then I go home and I sleep the rest of the day. I get up at 5 o'clock. I get to eat dinner, and I only lost. The only disappointing thing in the whole entire thing, I only lost 1.5 pounds.
That's it?
Go.
I thought you were full of it more than that.
I was looking forward to losing like 5 or 6 pounds.
Yeah, I would have guaranteed that.
You gotta be kidding me.
Wow.
Yeah, so that tells me I'm not full of stuff.
Hmm.
You're actually, a lot of people think I'm full of crap.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now you got proof. You got the receipts.
Yeah, so I highly recommend if you're putting it off, it's not as bad as everybody tells you. Just make sure you get a cushioned toilet seat.
All right, make sure you do that, Joey. Cushioned toilet seat.
Because, Joey, it's coming up pretty quick. Aren't you supposed to do this at 40?
Oh, Joey's fixing to get real familiar with his doctor coming up. Real familiar.
Well, if you say it's not that bad.
I don't know why everybody was...
He's saying it's not that bad, Joey. He's saying it.
Okay, and then one of my best friends is a doctor, and we went out to eat Saturday night. And he's sitting there telling me everything that can go wrong in this procedure coming up.
Oh, my.
Like, oh, yeah, I mean, people have died when they snip something, and they've done this, and they've done that. And his wife says, hey, he's having this Monday, and he's like, but he's just as casual. Yeah, he needs to know all this.
He needs to know.
I said, well, okay. Did you worry anymore? No, not really. I figure my hands in, God's got me in his hands.
There you
go.
go.
To come home, he's going to bring me home.
There you go, bro.
Nothing I can do about it. But, yeah, so I highly recommend everybody try that once or twice in their life. Not that bad.
And you still sell carpet?
Still sell carpet, yes. So if you need flooring, call us, 285-8117. But I had to tell you why I skipped yesterday. I was sleeping.
It was great. This is the best call of the day.
Yeah.
Again, though,
by far.
285-8117, folks.
Not bad at all. And I learned I had a really cute hind end. Out of all of it.
At least you think so.
Well, I appreciate it, Ray.
Guys, if y'all need more, call us. Bye.
See you, Ray.
And that's 285-8117. Well, how about this? Let's get out of here. Good to have you back, man. Really
good to be back.
Y'all stay tuned. Happy Hour with Greg. He's next.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.